Hey everybody. All right, so I'm here like I said I would be. I'm pretty good about that. I am a man of my word, so to say. Um, so apparently, uh, let's see. Apparently, Joe Biden has been announced the winner in South Carolina. I posted a video earlier saying apparently Joe Biden that's not what the video is. It says with the 0% of the vote counted, uh, desperate mainstream media declared Joe Biden the winner in South Carolina. Because they're clearly desperate, and they have to make sure and get that psychological operation going on us as quick as possible to say, no, Joe Biden won. Like we said, Joe Biden. I keep saying you'd think that these people would want to have at least the slightest shred of credibility with their fake polls and shit. So. And this is why I really want desperately I want desperately for Bernie Sanders to win in South Carolina, because it would be the end of Joe Biden's political career. And that would be one of the best things that could ever happen to the Democrats. And I don't know what's going on in South Carolina. I know that Republicans could vote for a Democrat in the South Carolina primary. It was what you call an open primary. But I find it repugnant that the mainstream media, with 0% of the vote counted, wants to tell us Joe Biden is the winner. It's not right, or the projected winner. They're trying to tell us it's just not right, dude. And I mean, it's the same thing with this Buttigieg thing in Iowa. The mainstream media. I mean, there should be a watchdog on the mainstream media, which is kind of what I've been over the years, and other people. I don't want to say just me, but there should be someone that holds them truly accountable, that says, well, you know what, you're not allowed to do this, and we're going to fine you $5 million for projecting Joe Biden to be the winner with 0% of the vote counted. Okay, because we've all seen how screwed up the polls are. So don't. But nobody does that. Nobody says, oh yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't make fucking bullshit stories about fucking reefer madness, or whatever else bullshit stories they have, because we've all seen the bullshit stories, and it's very disheartening to know that there isn't anybody that's ever going to take to hold the mainstream media accountable. And I mean, it just really is really disheartening. It's like nobody's ever going to hold the management of YouTube accountable for committing crimes against humanity. Okay, if I build an archive of videos and it's of value to all humanity, which I've done again and again, and YouTube chooses to delete those archives, that is a crime against humanity. This is who the management of YouTube is. So, and the mainstream media is clearly on board with that too. They don't care what the people's voice truly is. They want to tell you what it is that you're supposed to believe before there's any evidence of the fact that you're even supposed to believe it. There's aluminum tubes in Iraq. We gotta go to war now. They have aluminum tubes and cake. I heard yellow cake. I fucking love yellow cake. We gotta get into Iraq right now. such, and nobody, and 1 million innocent Iraqis die, and zero people are held accountable. And trust me when I say your children are going to be held accountable for 1 million Iraqis dying. They're the ones going to have to pay the price for a giant lie from the mainstream media and the White House and the Pentagon, all working together to sell America down a fucking river of endless wars of choice based on lies, just like the drug war. And you know that the mainstream media has helped the government every step of the way with that too. What's up, Ash? You know, it is one of the greatest crimes in modern day history, and there should be, and there's so many people to hold accountable for. Iraq, he's talking about. Pretty sure Ash is talking about Iraq, and Iraq is easily one of the biggest crimes against humanity in modern day history. And nothing's being done to hold anyone accountable for it. And it's all based on lies cooked up by the mainstream media. Well, the lies were cooked up by the White House and the Pentagon, and then they were disseminated by the mainstream media with zero fucking fact-checking. Okay, so they just, the Pentagon says we're going to war. We have to go 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 to war. And then we went and killed 1 million innocent people. All that is on us. And this horrible government is never going to pay a price. The people, Pelosi, John Kerry, Dick Cheney, these horrible Hillary type of people are never ever going to pay the price for killing 1 million innocent people. And that's why it's going to fall on your children, because they will pay a price. There is such a thing as blowback, and you can count on it coming this way in a giant way. And if anybody thinks that this country is secure because of the Department of Homeland Security, your local police, or the CIA, or the FBI, or any other fucking bullshit organization, the NSA, we've all seen it happen again and again. They know the people that are going to commit the terrorist attacks. They let the attacks happen. Oh, this person was on our watch list. Oh, yeah, we let it happen. They don't say we let it happen, but you know that they're on the watch list, which means they're listening, watching their tests, listening to their phone calls, watching where they go. And then they're able to pull off a terrorist attack? Give me a break. Not without the government's green light. And this is why this piece of shit government, bullshit media, all needs to fucking be burnt to the fucking ground. And the best people to fucking get that fire started are Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. And if the people of South Carolina did vote for Joe Biden overwhelmingly, what the fuck is wrong with you? You need creepy Uncle Joe to be fucking vilified so the Democrats look like fucking idiots every fucking day of the goddamn election the minute he's the nominee? Are you that fucking stupid? Seriously, are you that fucking stupid, South Carolina? Because I don't think you are. I think the media is completely full of shit. And that they're trying to fucking once again brainwash us into believing that South Carolina voters are that fucking stupid. So I'm just wondering, South Carolina, are you that fucking stupid? Because I don't think you are. And you should all be fucking revolting in the streets if you didn't overwhelmingly vote for Joe Biden. And I'm talking to you, Iowa. You voted for Buttigieg? I don't think so. That doesn't sound like Iowa to me. Alrighty then. Anybody else need a bong hit? I need a bong hit. I need a bong hit. Which question? Did I ask a question? Oh, right. What the fuck is wrong with Iowa, with South Carolina? Lindsey Graham is a good response. Lindsey Graham, his family made their money selling cigarettes and alcohol to addicts. And then he, with their family's money, got to go to law school and become a senator with their money that they made selling addicts cigarettes and alcohol. And he will tell you this. And it's disgusting that he has in the process started a heroin epidemic in this country because we think of the children. Why won't you people think of the children? The children! Think of the children! Oh my God, what is wrong with you? And if Scott's here, Scott, I owe you a dab from yesterday. Scott kicked down the biggest contribution to Mox News in quite some time last night. I was really glad he won a t-shirt. And I owe him a big fat dab. So I'm going to take a big fat dab for Scott because that was very nice and so needed. It's been so long since anybody kicked down like that. And it makes me feel like, all you guys who kick down make me feel like let me know that I am doing the right thing. It just, it's nice to get a little more than pizza money every once in a while. Because I got to buy hard drives and other stuff too. So that was very nice of Scott. And this first dab is going to be for Scott. That one, oh, look at it sparkle in the light. Isn't that not the most beautiful dab, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you wish that was on the end of your dab stick right now? Making my mouth water as we speak. So that one's for Scott, and I will have that momentarily, just in case Scott is not. What did Scott say? Oh, Scott said that he was a 23-year fan of my work, and that he was very, very happy to have found me again. And we gave away a t-shirt last night. We did our dabs for donations. We do every Friday. And he gave a donation, and I didn't even see it because I don't know. I guess my mind couldn't register what it was that he donated. And so and then we reached on Fridays we do tabs for donations. If we get to $40, you give a donation, I take a dab. If we get to $40, we give away a Mox News t-shirt, right? And Scott kicked down $200 last night, and that was really, really super awesome. But he's familiar with my work long before anybody ever thought of a YouTube. And it was nice to hear from him, and it's always nice to hear from fans. You know, he like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I know that I've made a difference for a lot of people. I've had people come up to me that I never met and shake my hand and look me in the eyes and say, "You saved my marriage." Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the kind of work that I've done on this planet. People I never met. So, I got that going for me, which is nice. When I say I am paid in full, and I am going all the way home after this wild ride, I'm not joking. Okay, so I have a bunch of clips for you guys. I don't know. Let's see. We got 15% of the vote counted in South Carolina, and they're saying Joe Biden has 53% of the vote, with 15% counted. So I really don't see. I think it's probably a bunch of Republicans voted for Joe in South Carolina because they know that that he's the worst candidate the Democrats could possibly put forward. He is such a worst candidate that he is a complete and utter embarrassment to the entire U.S. government. That he has held a political career. I mean, this is what he does. He's a professional politician, which is why I wanted so much for him to lose this primary, so that we could say that this is the nail in the coffin of Joe Biden's political career. Because that would be really fucking sweet to see that final nail go in. I can see the Republicans, because it's open primary. Republicans can vote for a Democrat in this South Carolina primary. So if, like I keep saying, Joe Biden is a complete and utter embarrassment, not only to the Democrats, to every single Democrat, because they're acting like possibly this is the best person they can put forth. I mean, how out of touch can the Democrats possibly be? And you know what? The truth is, they know that that's not true, but they have to do anything they can to get delegates away from Bernie Sanders so that they can have a brokered convention and say, oh, well, Bernie Sanders didn't get enough delegates to be the nominee, so now all the super delegates have to vote, and everybody's going to change their vote, and all the delegates are going to change their votes, and we're going to nominate Bloomberg. And the entire country will burn down at that point. But who knows what's going to happen 6 months from now, right? And in case you guys didn't notice, the lines are open. We did have a phone call. The phone, it just rang and then shut off. But the lines are open. So if you want to call, you can call anytime. And also, we do this every Monday through Friday. This is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. Tonight we're having it at 5 p.m. And we do it every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. So that we can all touch bases about what's going on in the world. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, man, what's happening?
Ash from Illinois.
Who's this?
Ash from Illinois, dude.
Hey, Ash. It's good to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. But, yeah, before we get into all this stuff, I just got to say, did you get to see that Ghostmain, the system is falling video?
The what?
I recommended a video last time. The system is falling.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that one. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. It was the one that was based on the the old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember. I'm writing it down right now.
All right, you're good.
Okay.
It's a GHOSTE. This is all one word. MANE. The system is falling.
Okay. Got it.
Right. Anyway, just wanted to touch base with you with that. But, yeah, I mean, I tell you what, this is such bullshit with Joe Biden.
Oh, man.
0%, literally. And it's like, you know what, because we can.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you saw this. This was that, because we can, we're just going to project that he won. So,
you know, and they...
Because the polls have closed.
Yeah. And I think I remember them trying to do stuff during the primary before, like the. Of course, I remember him doing stuff like this. It's beyond ridiculous. I remember them doing this with Hillary Clinton again and again. Oh, she's, and you know that they know which areas to count first, which are going to be the most favorable for Biden, right? And they know which areas to poll, which are going to be the most, so it's just so easy for them to fucking, I so want to see Bernie Sanders win South Carolina, man. I want Joe Biden.
Second place, though.
I want Joe Biden to be gone forever, and that would have made that kind of happen. That kind of would have made that happen, which would have been awesome.
Because he's stubborn. He's not going to go away anytime soon. He's going to wait this out. That's the problem. I mean, he's already done for. He's already done for. I mean, he couldn't even take New Hampshire.
I don't think he's electable anywhere, dude. I don't know. And the only reason that he seems like maybe he could be in some kind of fantasy world is because the media is not going after him in any way. This Hunter Biden fucking Ukraine thing. There's no way he can beat Donald Trump. Zero.
Right.
So, and that doesn't even count. That doesn't even count the creepy Uncle Joe shit.
Yeah, and his whole record, I mean, going back, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, horrible.
I mean, my God. I mean, the corn pop thing, if anything, that besides it being a ridiculous story, that really disturbed me. Some of the details that he gave in that about how he pulled out a chain and all that. I don't hear anyone discussing that. And of course, that in relation to the whole segregationist era and everything, who's just walking around with a chain like that?
Yeah.
And the whole corn pop thing and all that. And then and during the same event, I believe he talked about the bizarre thing again, creepy Uncle Joe with the leg hair thing.
Yeah.
That was out there. Not to mention how he's trying to take credit for projects that he had literally nothing to do with during the 8 years of the Obama administration.
He's taking credit completely for the 8 years of the Obama administration. I mean, that was basically his administration. If you like that, let's do it again.
Yeah, again, the whole racist thing. I was the one who was really the power behind the throne.
Yeah,
I was the real president, not Obama.
Right? How does that appeal to black people? How, knowing any part of his record, does that appeal to black people? That was the big thing. Is it somehow Joe Biden appeals to black people more than the other candidates? What?
Yeah, Mr. Crime Bill.
Yeah.
The guy who was against busing and just everything. Kamala Harris, she crucified that man.
Yeah.
She crucified Joe Biden. And he keeps going. No matter what, he don't care because he just, I don't know. He's so stubborn, and the total failure of his Iowa No Malarkey tour, and just it's just crazy. And he just won't take a hint. The people don't support Joe Biden, but he just doesn't care. As long as those in control want him being pushed that way. I'm hearing some people say that about Buttigieg. I'm not really seeing that. But I am seeing that, there are some shady things going on. Like, we've talked about that before with Obama and Hillary and some of her people involved with Buttigieg. Same thing with Klobuchar recently.
Yeah.
But Mike Bloomberg, the man is literally buying his way into the election.
He gave
last debate, too.
When you say literally, there basically is no more literal statement ever made in history about politics.
Yep. And he's got the money. He's self-funded, right? He doesn't need the grassroots.
He looks like he's going to spend $1 billion of his own money before the convention. As far as at this pace, easily.
He probably will.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, he don't care. He even said in one statement to his company, one of them, the Bloomberg News, he even said that he was willing to spend $1.5 billion, even $2 billion, just on advertisement.
Yeah.
Just on advertisement, because as long as he's on television, don't you know, that's going to buy votes. And when you look at the polling data, it's mostly in southern states. So this is something that I don't hear very many people talk about. When you look at Arkansas and Mississippi and Florida and some of these other places, the majority of people get their news from television. Where are these ads? television, but that's not the rest of the country. Those are the only states where he's polling higher, with some exception. But still, I mean, when you look at California, I saw a poll recently where he was in third place in California, but it didn't add up to anything percentage-wise. It was Bernie Sanders overwhelmingly. And Illinois, I mean, we're a very contested state. I think he's in like third or fourth place right here. I'm not sure. Last I checked.
Who is in third or fourth?
Oh, Mike Bloomberg.
Oh, that's so strange that he. I mean, I can't understand who on earth that guy could possibly appeal to. Because
I blame Chicago myself. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I just it's impossible to understand because everybody knows that he's just scum. I mean, he's a fucking number one. I keep calling Trump. He's a douchebag New Yorker, and beyond that, he's a fucking rich douchebag New Yorker. So we all know. I mean, and those are the people that we all knew back in the day that nobody, they were all like the worst of the worst kind of people, and nobody wanted anything to do with them. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is like it's so obvious he doesn't have the slightest bit of empathy for a single other living human being, or why does anybody ever want to be represented by someone like that?
They don't. That's the thing. But again, that's what the TV box says, right? The boob tube. We have to listen to the boob tube because they never lie. I mean, why would they? I mean, the fact checkers are fact checking. And it's all in favor of Joe Biden and Michael Bloomberg. It's so ridiculous. I mean, it's literally they took Hillary Clinton and they cut her in half and named one side Mike Bloomberg and one side Joe Biden and said, okay, there's no difference. And it's like, here's big money New York and here's crazy, cranky old guy with weird racist stories. And that's what I mean. It's laughable, man. I mean, this shit is crazy. I mean, when you look at Bernie Sanders, this is something I would also like to touch on here. Bernie Sanders has had, for whatever reason, now he is the greatest threat to the history of the Republic, right? Isn't that funny that in 2016 they never called him that? They just said he was kooky and he was going to bankrupt the country.
They said he was crazy and he's like just pipe dream, all this crap, right? I mean, that's what I saw. But now, there's this shit, man. It's like the mainstream media. It's like they believe their own bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like they know that they're just full of shit, and yet it's like they're like. I guess that's part of how you sell it convincingly is if you're a good actor, you act like you believe what it is you're saying, right? So it's just so hard to understand how these people look themselves in the mirror, how they believe that I keep wondering how wondering how they keep their front teeth, honestly. That's what I wonder. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's the hedonism behind the scenes.
Yeah, the money.
I really do. I think, yeah. I really think that's why, because it's the only way for them to keep their sanity.
Being like an untouchable elite, it's just exactly like the shit in that They Live movie, where the mainstream media is all in on it, and they're right up there hobnobbing with all the fucking elite of the elite, and it's just and none of them have the humans, the working class best interest at heart in any way, shape, or form. It's like we're just fucking cattle, and that's it at best.
Yeah, and what were the police in that? They were the enforcers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's something that struck me about that movie is you notice that there was never any National Guard or military. It was always the police.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is the military is too awake to it. I have not found one person in the military that supports this bullshit.
Which bullshit is that? Which bullshit?
Any of it.
Oh, well.
I mean, regardless if you look at the gun confiscation, when you look at the big government, I mean, back in 2013, I tried to join the United States Army. It didn't work out. It's a long story. Anyway, what happened was
You want to tell us the
every
story?
single one of my recruiters, they were all sergeants.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them supported the mainstream media. Not a single one of them. They were very open about the bullshit going on in Syria.
Uh-huh.
None of them supported President Obama. They were all pretty open about it. And I think that goes back decades. The military seems to be very awake to what is going on.
Well,
much like your audience, I mean, I got to tell you, you got a lot of people that are very awake on here. And I would say that with a lot of other streams, too. People are very awake. I mean, we're no longer some minority on a stream or on a website, crying out for people to pay attention, and they're just glued to the TV. I think they're starting to break away from it. I really do.
Away from the TV, the TV's a dinosaur.
Well, away
man.
from the mainstream media.
I think that too. I think
all of it, man.
I mean, I've seen a break from the mainstream media for a long time, and I think I probably have been part of encouraging that. It's I don't know. It's just hard to. It's really hard to deal with, man. We're at this place where it's like I feel like we're at this really tipping, breaking point place, and the people are desperate. It's not just that they're desperate for the truth. It's that the truth is so important to them now, probably more than any other time in human history, and like I've said, all the pillars of the community are just full of shit. The medical industrial complex is full of shit. The media is full of shit. All the politicians are full of it. The police are full of shit. It's just, there's nowhere to fucking turn. The religions are fucking full of shit. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that firsthand with the medical system. I mean, not a single one of these goddamn people can agree on anything.
Yeah,
they can't.
They just want. It's just about making, and it's just about making money. Right. I equate it to like some kind of witch doctor shit, where they fucking roll a dice and they go, okay, let's try that one.
I mean, their symbol is literally the staff of Hermes, and so many of these people. I mean, they come in here and. They're not all of them, but some of them are taught this bullshit where they are the elite, they are the upper class, they are the doctors, and some of them are taught this.
Yeah.
In certain medical schools. I mean, personally, there was a doctor here in my community, and he was educated in Punjab, and that's what they taught there. I know, and I think it's Harvard or something like that. One of them, they also teach that, but that's not just medical. That's with everything. In the community that I live in, I'm not going to get into too many details because I don't want to violate HEPA. I don't want to violate any of that. So I'm just going to use broad terms. If you forgive me, I apologize for that. There is a big schism in this area in central Illinois, the Springfield, Decatur, Taylorville area. There's a big schism medically, and I can't get too much into it. There's not a lot of people that are aware of it, and I'm surprised. I've tried contacting newspapers over to local media. They won't touch it, so that ought to tell you something. They're having difficulty getting payment, and they're having difficulty seeing certain people. There's a lot of disagreements and backhanding stuff going on between these different groups, which, again, legally speaking, I can't name, but they're the big ones here. That's all I'm going to say. This is happening all over the country. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to blame Obamacare, and they're trying to completely repeal it. Or they're trying to say, well, we need to have Medicare for all. So everyone's trying to politicize this. You see what I'm saying? Because the new budget does not explicitly say that it's going to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. It doesn't explicitly say that. And the cuts that are going to take place, they're very minor, and it mostly has to do with things that still haven't been come up with the budget. Mm-hmm. So I don't like that, but still, it's just saying, well, he's going to wipe out Social Security, he's going to wipe these things. No, he's not. He's not going to wipe out Medicare and Medicaid. And I don't even like Trump. So, I mean, and I was told that from a doctor in this area. and I went straight into it and looked into it. And I'm like, well, that there's something ain't right here. So there's some real shady shit going on. Same thing with the Bernie Sanders supporters. I believe that there are people infiltrating Bernie Sanders' camp and trying to make it look like we're all frickin' nuts. The stalkers, the harassment thing, the playing into the whole media narrative of the quote Bernie bro, which is still very ill-defined and doesn't make a lot of sense.
It does if you
Sanders is crazy.
Actually, Bernie Bros makes a lot of sense if you want to vilify white men and act like somehow that because they're the basically the only okay people to vilify anymore. So that's why they're bros. It's not just Bernie Sanders supporters; it's the Bernie Bros.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. Very, very true. As you see on my channel, because, and I'm sure you are too, we're all monitored, so we have to be careful what, the grand poopa of YouTube dictates and allows for us to say. Yeah. Because I've said this for over a decade. I think that there needs to be a completely free platform. But I don't know any way, to really go through that. They would have to have a kick-ass legal team, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It would have to be completely free. I mean, dude, you know this as well as I do.
Yeah.
There are so many people that are in the government, that are in these big tech companies. They want to take away what little freedom we have left on this fucking thing and just control and censor everything that we fucking do. And I think we're just getting tired of it. I mean, we saw that with Gab and BitChute and so many other things. And then they tried to take those over. Oh, well, those are white supremacists, blah, blah, blah. They take these things. Yeah. And then there was Patriot Stream. There was other things. We need to seriously consider as just people in general, making a freaking website where you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Whatever, as long as you're not threatening people or violence or something, there will be some guidelines.
Yeah.
But not this overarching artificial intelligence thing, and these secret 30,000 people on YouTube that just without warning can ban your shit. Yeah. And it's wrong. It's unconstitutional what they're doing. It's unconstitutional.
I think that if YouTube is going to be the biggest soapbox in the world, which is what it is in my opinion, or it should be, or could be,
right.
Then there's got to be some kind of First Amendment laws that go along with that, But they don't give a shit about that. I mean, did you see? I did that story yesterday about that young woman in the Mecca girl. Did you see that story? That I did last night. Oh, last night I did a story about this Mecca girl. She posted a video. She's like, I think she's like 12 or 15, and she posted a video on YouTube, and it went all fucking viral. Got millions. And she's from Saudi Arabia, and they arrested her, and
oh yeah, I heard something about that on BBC Radio actually.
Yeah, I posted a clip of her last night. Because and what I was saying is that here's this young artist, young lady artist, and she's just like all of a sudden getting recognition from around the world, and YouTube just fucking squashes her like part of the police state, instead of like when she needs the world the most, because she's being persecuted by a fucking evil government, YouTube fucking shuts her down. And that's who you... Because they're evil.
Yeah, because they listen to Saudi Arabia and China. They listen to where the money is.
Oh.
I mean, there was Nerd City did a video about the YouTube algorithm and all that, and that's what he discovered. They would rather listen to a Pakistan law or a Chinese government official than they would listen to our own people. And we have to understand that YouTube is the world. So what are you going to do? You're going to cherry pick what country's laws you support? And almost every law they support are countries, because they claim to be pro-American, right? Why is every country's law that they're picking are considered adversarial?
And fuck the goddamn government, okay? The YouTube is about you and I, not about a fucking government, okay? And screw the goddamn government. If they say, oh, well, you can't fucking operate here, whatever, fine, okay? We're going to have this thing that we stand for freedom. So if somebody brings up some shit about this horrible thing that the police is doing or the military is doing or the government is doing in their country, that's what YouTube should be about in a big way. We're here to fight for justice because the little man has been held down long enough, and if fucking Google had its head out of its ass enough to be that people, to fight for the little guy, they wouldn't be not making money. They'd be making lots and lots and lots of money. But they're fucking stupid and short-sighted, and all they care about is fucking, I don't know, censorship, apparently, because I don't see them fighting for, freedom.
No, and that's another thing, is they claim that they're social justice warriors. Well, if that's the case, if you support, for example, if you support gay rights, then why is it every time someone makes a video, you demonetize them? I mean, there was a YouTuber recently, for the life of me, can't remember her name. She's left YouTube over this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Over the last year, we've seen, like, almost every couple of weeks, there's these little whispers, and now it's a voice, and now it's right in front of you, and now it's a roar right in front of all of our faces. These people who control YouTube, that do this algorithm, all this shit, and I'm sure that other websites are going to follow this too, Jack Dorsey of Twitter, other things. We're already seeing that with Reddit, getting rid of the Donald and other things. I mean, why don't you get rid of Sanders streams, since you don't support politics? Why is it only... I don't care. This targeting of any particular group is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
It's wrong what they're doing. We don't take a political stance. Then what the hell do you think you people are doing? You're taking some kind of stance, and whatever it is, it's not for we the people. It's for you, the mega corporation.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope that people see that as overwhelmingly as you and I do, Ash, because it is again. I see people who censor information as a threat to all humanity. People who want to censor freedom of speech, they are literally a threat to humanity, because that's how humans are going to progress in this world, is by us being able to talk about whatever it is we need to talk about. And if anybody's limiting that in any way, they are a threat to all of us.
Right, because that's another thing about it is if you control the media, you control the mind. If you take away the media, then what replaces it? And then when you look at information, he who controls information and he who wants information controlled in his heart dreams himself your master. And that's what these guys are trying to do, is they are the master and we are the slave. And it doesn't matter what race, what color, what sexual orientation, all people, that 1%, the 99%, and that is exactly what Bernie Sanders has been talking about his entire career. But that's why he's dangerous, because he's not dangerous to the people. He's dangerous to these frickin' corporations and these 1%ers, man.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. I'm telling you, these news people, I want him to be the nominee so bad so that Don Lemon can explain to us why Donald Trump is a better pick than Bernie Sanders.
Oh, God.
Because there's no way that Don Lemon is going to support Bernie Sanders. Because it means that his paycheck is going to go down. And it's not because Bernie Sanders is going to tax him more. It's because he's going to take away all this fucking sweet pharmaceutical advertising money. All this fucking billions and billions of dollars that they spend trying to convince the public, hypnotize the public into believing that they need these pills. That's all going to go away with Bernie Sanders, which means that they don't have the money to pay Don Lemon nearly as much. And Don Lemon may act like a dipshit, but I'm pretty sure he knows where his money comes from. And I can't wait to hear him tell us how Donald Trump is a better selection than Bernie Sanders. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it'll show his true colors. And all these other motherfuckers that are exactly the same way. All these people in the mainstream media that you see quivering. You know, all these politicians that you see saying, oh, this is the worst choice for America. Democratic politicians who you would think Donald Trump would be the worst choice for America, but no, Bernie Sanders is. They are the politicians, the media, they all get money from the fucking pharmaceutical companies and the big petroleum and everybody else who has that slush fund money to fucking throw around. And Bernie Sanders is going to make a lot of that shit go away. And these people love their slush fund money, trust me.
Yeah. And of course, the only way to move up in life is if you have a BA, right? Or a master's.
Well,
isn't that what they say?
It's you know, I mean, I don't think that people believe that. You know, there's the American dream and all that.
They don't, but I'm just saying that's what they say. I mean, it's just such bullshit, man.
Yeah.
It really is. And you know what? I'll agree with Amy Klobuchar in this one. I'll give her this. We do need to invest more in apprenticeships and trades. That's something that's very lacking. I think we also need to give maybe $6 billion into Pell Grants. I think that would help out a lot.
Look, if people want to go to school, they should make it so that people can go to school. Okay, and I don't mean pay their rent. I don't mean pay their rent. I don't mean pay their food. I don't mean pay their phone bill. You know, I mean, they should make it so, okay, we'll pay for your school. You gotta work to pay for everything else, or you know, however else you get the money. Whatever it is you do, you got to make something happen and get that money because we're not paying for it. And that would show, you know, that people really do want to be in school because they're busting their ass 7 ways from Sunday to try and make that happen. Still.
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But what do I know, right? I'm just some guy on a phone, you know, what the hell do I know, yeah?
Well, it's not that...
It's somewhere, you know, we need to listen to the tech companies, they know.
Yeah, it's not that you don't know, it's that it doesn't matter what you know.
Exactly.
We know.
Exactly.
We have to listen to the party elders, Ash. They know what's best.
Oh, yeah. Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe. I mean, come on. He's like your uncle. You know, Obama, he's like your dad. You remember that one? Obama's just like your dad.
I don't remember that one, no.
All they did, MSNBC, they did that. That was the same segment. They said that children don't belong to their parents. They belong to the entire community.
Yeah. It takes a island or whatever. Takes a whatever.
Yep.
You know, these people.
But anyway, man, I mean,
people are crazy. I mean, I really think people like Joe Biden. I mean, he clearly believes his own bullshit. He believes that he's been a great man for the people. I mean, he honestly believes that. You know, and he won't. Right. He refuses to hear anything else. So
because it doesn't fit into his world.
Yeah.
Because in his world, he is that great man.
Yeah.
In his world, I mean, that's like Mike Bloomberg. I was going to say this earlier, but we got onto another topic. Michael Bloomberg is making it sound like he was the mayor during the September 11th attacks, for crying out loud.
Yeah. He also
in the smoldering rubble.
Yeah.
Come on.
He also makes it sound like Obama has endorsed him for president.
Yeah, that fucking pissed me off. How he's done that and he's had. Dude, I mean, I'm telling you, the money talks, right? So he can make anything look like whatever he wants. The media doesn't call him out on it because he's got so much of this shit. I mean, we literally
it's not because he has so much money. It's because they want as much of it that they can get out of him. So of course they're not going to call him on his bullshit. Because if he gets stopped in his tracks, then the money stops too. So, fuck no, they're not going to stop him. Mike, you're doing great. just wait for Super Tuesday. You're going to rock it right out to the front, buddy.
He spends more money than any other candidate on Super Tuesday. He's completely skipped all the caucus states. He don't need those. And that's another thing about it, dude. they have completely ignored their own shit that they've cooked up for over like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Nobody has won the nomination by skipping the caucus states. Nobody. And Sanders winning New Hampshire and Nevada, and then, you have the whole whatever happened in Iowa. I mean, whatever. But, he won the popular vote there. That still matters. But nobody has ever won a nomination for a political party by skipping the caucus states, especially, like I said, with Sanders. He won 2 of the 3 first. You have to do that. Everything after New Hampshire, that's all secondary. And Joe Biden's got 1/4. So he's done for. And they're trying to say, well, he rebounded, he did this and that. I think MSNBC was saying a little bit ago. But, I mean, it's they're just so desperate. Like you said, they believe it. I mean, they would have to believe it. They lie so much, they're convinced by their own lies.
It's really weird, man.
They're convinced by their own world that they've made.
I think a lot of them believe it. I look at people like Rachel Maddow, and I can see in her eyes, it's like her desperation to try and get you, so desperate to get you to believe this stuff. It's almost like there's pain in her eyes that she wants to get you to believe it so bad.
I felt that too.
Yeah.
With her. I felt that too. It seems like they're so almost like, and I don't mean this in a threatening way. I mean this in like an observation. They feel like the gallows are a possibility. And it explains why you have people like Chris Matthews making up this bullshit about gulags and firing squads in Central Park. Because they're so, I don't know what it is, maybe behind the scenes, or they really are convinced by this, but they seem utterly terrified of Bernie Sanders. And the same fear that they're expressing towards him was the same bullshit fear that they had with Trump during the Mueller investigation. It's the same desperation. It's the same fear.
Right. I think it's a little bit different fear, honestly. I see the fear with the Bernie Sanders, again, all about their paycheck. He's coming he's going to cut our fucking paychecks in half, and some of us are going to lose our jobs. Because it's not like they for 1 second are afraid they're going to go to jail or something for international war crimes.
Right.
They're not. They don't have. They apparently don't have that fear at all. I just don't. I wish I could see that fear in them, but I don't see that fear in them at all. So. Yeah,
and of course, the last time we had any big trials or anything at The Hague was with Slobodan Milosevic from Serbia during the Yugoslav Civil War.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's this huge debate about George Bush with Interpol, and I think Germany and France tried to push that, to have it where, there was some sort of warrant out for his arrest or something. I mean, all of our friends all around the world, right? And that's the thing that me and you have talked about so many times. Like, Obama came in with so much hope of America and the world to rebuild the system, and he was the perfect Trojan horse to go in there and just bullshit the whole fucking world and just continue these policies under a different guise.
Yeah.
And the so crazy thing about this, you have Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, both of them, did not support marriage equality.
I know.
They did not support. I mean, they were pro building a border wall, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And they make it sound like this is all Trump shit. This isn't anything new with these people.
Yeah, no, Obama, a marriage is between a man and a woman. And, I mean, I mean, that is not equality according to the homos, So, I mean, and so I don't care who gets married. It doesn't affect me in any way. And I'm a big freedom guy. So, let everybody get married who wants to get married. I think it's stupid. I've never understood people getting married. I don't
agree with the institution either. I don't understand it. It's so silly and arcane, dude.
If you need a contract in order for you to stay with the person that you're with, that's not the person you want to be with.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have to sign a legal document. And then not to mention the whole hassle of divorce and all the pain and trouble that goes through with the kids and just everything. It's this big hassle. And not to mention how so many of these marriages, these contract marriages, only last a few years anymore anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing that started, you know, during the Bush administration and worse than during the recession. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. I mean, and it's like, and it doesn't matter what your income bracket is with that. I mean, we saw that, you know, with, I'm not even going there. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, I'm saying that it's like some people get married under false pretenses just so they can get divorced to get all the money. I mean, we see that with a lot of millionaires. You know, I mean, that's like China. Like one of the richest people in China is one of those stories. She got married to a billionaire business guy and divorced him and got half of everything he had, and you know, now she's living high off the hog. And you know, I mean, that's one thing I'll agree with the men going their own way movement is, you know, there's some of that, but to just cast all women as that's silly. Everybody needs to have people who care about them.
I'm not trying to cast. I just say I never. I mean, my whole life from the time I was very young, where you start thinking about marriage, things like marriage, it didn't make sense to me that for someone that you're in love with, in order to stay together, that you have to have a contract between not only you and her, but the government. I don't. You know, that doesn't sound like love to me.
Isn't that kind of polygamy, though?
I don't know what you mean.
It's a three-way marriage, isn't it? It's you, me, and the government.
Again, you can marry whoever. I don't care how many people you marry. I don't care. It doesn't affect me, man, in any way. You can do anything you want. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't give a fuck. Why should I?
Yeah, I mean, how in the hell does it affect? If two men or two women get married to each other, who the hell does that affect? That doesn't affect anybody's life.
Or four men and three women or whatever. I don't fucking care, man. Whatever. I mean, I've mentioned this author in the past who was like Robert Heinlein, and he wrote a book called Friday. And in Friday, they had these things called group marriages. And there'd be like 5 women and 3 guys, or 5 men and 3 women. And they'd live in a home, and they'd all have children together, and they'd all help, and they'd all run businesses together, and and it was just their own little community within the community, you know, and it worked out very well, and it made a lot of sense. And I always thought, hey, that makes a lot more sense than this 2-person thing, because you're coming up way short-handed or something. I don't know.
No, Mike, that's called communism. You can't be communist here.
And then you have all this.
What's wrong with you, boy?
You have all these other, you know, like pooled incomes, right? So you can make happen different businesses and afford to send the kids to college and all that shit, you know. Just makes a lot more sense.
It does make a lot more sense, but that's the thing. We gotta have things that are more complicated. And there has to be. We have to have things that are moral. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you understand? Oh, yeah. You have to be a decent human being if you're going to live in this Western society. Yeah. You know. Yeah, you got to be decent. How dare you smoking that black smoke, that black weed?
That does sound pretty good.
You.
Ooh, I like the black weed.
Horrible. Don't do it, Mike.
I like
eternal soul.
I gotta grow some black weed, man. I had a friend who used to grow.
Doesn't that sound badass?
Grow these purple plants, and I'm telling you, they were black. They were not purple. They were black. So I gotta get some of that.
Oh my gosh, you've already smoked the black weed, then?
I have many times.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I'll vote Republican and I'll go to church.
Well, good. I hope that works out real good for you.
Well, you need to go with it, too. Listen, all of you out there listening, if you don't live the way exactly I do, there's something the matter with you.
See, and that's the thing, you know, I mean, you say, you know, the way you say, I vote Republican and I go to church, and I say, well, that's great. I hope that works out real well for you, you know.
Right. It's like, what does it matter at the end of the day? Like, can't we just, you know, just live your life the way you want to?
You know, I'm not here to judge you, and I can understand why the fuck you vote giant douche instead of turd sandwich. Nobody wants a fucking turd sandwich. I get it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense why someone is dumbass or retard or, you know, I guess independent could be idiot, you know.
I don't want to, make it like that. I mean, like I said, it's not.
No,
I don't want to put it on the voter. I want to put it on the what our choices are. You get giant douche or you get turd sandwich. Those are your fucking choices, dude. So you can't really blame the people for choosing giant douche. I mean, who the fuck wants a turd sandwich?
And again, that's something that they've tried to do. Like, do you remember with Clinton with the deplorables?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
telling you, she lost the election because of that, dude.
I think so.
Big factor.
I think so. I think Bernie got a boost with this whole fucking Bernie Bros shit too.
Yeah.
And they're gonna you watch, they're gonna try and make this Bernie Sanders supporters thing after Tuesday, or maybe leading up to Tuesday, a big deal.
I would say leading up.
Yeah. You're going to hear a lot about Bernie Sanders supporters. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got two things for you about the Bernie Sanders supporters things leading up to this.
Okay.
Now, I live in the 13th Congressional District of Illinois, and my representative is Congressman Ronnie Davis. Now, he comes from the town I live in. He's talked about in the news, actually, quite a bit the last few years. He was also during that congressional baseball shooting.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys he was almost shot. Yeah, that was Congressman Ronnie Davis. Well, the person running against him, the Democrat, her name is Londrigan, Betsy Dirksen Londrigan. And supposedly there was a group of, quote, Bernie bros that were harassing her. And we haven't even been able to identify who these guys are. This was in our local paper. This was also, I think, Mediaite. Talked about it. Then over in Nevada, there was something that happened in Nevada.
Right.
With some election judge or something. Again, what do you know, Bernie bros? So they're already trying to do this nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's I don't see that reflected in his rallies or people I know or anything. And I'm like, who the heck are these guys?
Look, this is what it means to be a public figure. You put yourself into the public spotlight. I have, pretty much my entire career on YouTube, I've received death threats. For what? For posting news stories, right?
Right.
I mean, it's stupid, So, and I'm not even way out on a limb posting news stories. I'm posting here, look at this thing happened today. It's real fucking clean. I'm not. And still it fucking pushes people's buttons like crazy. But it goes with being part of the public figure. If you get enough people looking at you, some people are going to go and say stupid shit because trying to trigger you. And the thing is what we're going to get here is we get these people and they go, oh, look how I'm being victimized, and they go, and it's by the Bernie bros, oh my God, instead of, I'm a public figure and we get this kind of crap all the time, so it's not really a big deal, which is what the facts are.
People try to leech onto something, and they try to make it something that it's not. I mean, because that's like with Donald Trump, with the whole Charlottesville thing. He wasn't wrong in saying that there was violence on many sides. He is right about that. The cops were violent. The Nazis were violent. The pro-statue people were violent. Antifa sure as shit is violent. He wasn't wrong in saying that.
If there wasn't an anti-protest, if there wasn't people there saying, you can't say the things you say, then there wouldn't have been violence. So what started the violence really is people trying to shut down other people's freedom of expression, other people's freedom. Okay, and it's not like they didn't come to be violent, because they did. And that's a horrible thing. Yeah, that was a horrible thing. Horrible things happen. I fall on the side of freedom. It's best to know who these people are, okay? If you hate racism, if you think racism is dangerous, then you want every fucking racist on the planet expressing their racism so you know exactly who they are, okay?
Right.
So that you don't go to their fucking restaurant not knowing that they don't like black people or Jews or whatever else it is. You know, it's simple. You want to know who these people are, and by pushing it underground, you make it very, very dangerous.
Hey, fucking man.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand, like, for example, the mainstream media talking shit, like, we've talked about this before about Alex Jones. I mean, if this man has done so much bullshit and lied so much, then why do you delete all the evidence of him doing that? So there's no counter argument against you. It's the same fucking thing that they did with the so-called, alt-right, it's a very vague term, and all these other things. If you claim something, it doesn't matter what it is. If Antifa is violent, show them.
Right.
If the alt-right is violent, show them. If there was something that happened, no matter what it is. I mean, we see this with police investigations. If there's no security camera, it's he said, she said.
Right.
And
Always.
who are you going to go by? The store owner or the customer, the guy who supposedly, allegedly robbed it? Legally speaking, you can't say they did it. They allegedly did it.
Uh-huh.
And so, legally speaking, what YouTube is doing, I think, the gods of YouTube, I think it might even be, in a sense, illegal to silence people, as I said before, unconstitutional. Then why are you removing the evidence of people that you claim are doing wrong? Shouldn't there be some sort of archive or something, or some sort of third platform to show, hey, here's the evidence? There's not even that.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason why a lot of the time, when people say comments, for years and years, I've been doing this a long time, and people have made ugly comments. I haven't deleted those comments. I haven't banned those people because I want people to know who those people are. And it's not just, there's a lot of people watching. I always felt like when there would be people saying, kill the president, right? I always felt, man, if I delete that comment, then, because I always felt like, well, that's a really dangerous comment, and we don't want people saying things like that. We don't want people to get in trouble. But then after I would delete it, which I did a little bit at the beginning, I felt like, you know what, I'm hiding that person's shame, kind of. Like, that person just did something wrong, and I kind of helped them get away with it by hiding it or making it more difficult to find, So... Yeah,
I went through the same thing with my channel because, as you may know, my channel is mostly focused on Middle Eastern issues.
Mm-hmm.
And the type of threats and comments that I get are... some of them are tied to known terrorist organizations. I'll just leave it at that. So, Homeland Security, sometimes YouTube, with their security division, they have to get involved with me. And some of these people have been tracked down to Syria. I can tell you right now, I had the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps launch a bot campaign against me once.
Wow.
Something. So that's the government. They were able to shut that down. But at the same time, there's, I had the Taliban threaten me. I don't know if you remember everything that was going on with Malala Yousafzai in Pakistan. How she was nominated for the Nobel Prize and all that.
Yeah.
I had the Taliban threaten me because I, at that time with my previous YouTube channel, which is now defunct, I made a video at that time expressing support for her, got 1,000 views. I ended up getting personal emails from these people. So, and that's the thing that when you look at the YouTube comments, I also made a video about Richard Spencer, like what we were talking about earlier with Charlottesville, and I don't delete any of those comments that people put on because, again, it's their freedom of speech, and again, shouldn't it? You give a man enough rope, he will hang himself. If these people want to go on here and they want to make death threats, they want to make themselves look like an ass, let them. Because all it's going to do is make themselves look like that.
and not just that. I mean,
if you remove them.
Yeah, if you delete it, again, you're kind of helping them get away with doing something that's wrong. And because you cover it up as opposed to making sure other people see it, and again the powers that be will see those comments and act however it is they act. But whatever, you know what I mean? It's I don't want to hide these
out
people.
Of our control no matter what.
Yeah, and again, if it's racist comments or whatever, I feel like that's something shameful that these people did, and I don't want to hide their shame.
Right. And I don't understand it. I mean, we could, all day long with these people, we could constantly argue with them and stuff and engage with them. But the best thing for them to do is just touch and go. If they make a comment, let them make it.
Yeah.
It's known.
Yeah.
And some of these accounts, even if they're bots, they'll be taken down by their own means eventually anyway. So, it's all just, it depends on the context of it. But at the same time, freedom is the most important thing. And for people in tech companies, and not even cybersecurity, but people that work within these companies that set these policies, again, like you said, the powers that be. When you look at the interview with Jack Dorsey and his lawyer against Tim Pool and Joe Rogan, that was monumental, and that spoke for itself. Dorsey doesn't really control Twitter. His lawyer has more sway than he does, but she doesn't even control it. It's the people that set these guidelines that write these algorithms. And at the end of the day, we're in a techno control grid controlled by this algorithm that we're not allowed to know of. And it designates certain words and certain things that we say, even in video. Everything that we say is either closed caption, recorded, whatever, and they know what we're doing. Well, wouldn't it make sense to allow them to clean up their own site, and if they want to remove the comment? But they don't, do they? Because if you counter the neo-Nazis, the Antifa, whatever, they come after you. That's something I've noticed. If you counter Antifa, they protect Antifa, not you.
Huh.
If you go after the neo-Nazis, they go after you, not the Nazis. Because it's like they want those things to fester. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about Steven Crowder, but he's done several videos investigating this, and there's overwhelming evidence that there is some sort of a weird defense of radical, really violent groups, where it's almost like, I don't want to say they're tolerated, but they just don't enforce their policies on them as much as they do on the general public, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know how you feel about that or anything, brother, but it's a sticky situation. This fine line that they're trying to walk with freedom of speech. And there shouldn't even be a fine line.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. Look, you should have some kind of rules about, like you said, threatening violence. You should have some kind of rules about nudity, and and should have some kind of age rules, whatever they might be. And then from there on, it's fucking a free for all. Otherwise, it's censorship.
Yeah, it's like what happened with the toy channels and all the different things that were going on, how we now have to do this thing where are the videos made for kids or for adults?
Right.
That sort of thing should have been around 10, 12, 13 years ago.
Well, it's pretty obvious.
That stuff still comes through.
Yeah, it should. It should be pretty obvious that that's a basic. Are you doing stuff with children? Are you trying to attract children or not? That should be.
Yeah, that was disgusting. That was even tolerated for as long as it was.
Well, YouTube's the elites are fucked up people, man. They don't see things the way we see things, and they don't care about things the way we care about things, because they don't feel it. They're never going to be touched by the reality of this existence. They have their little fucking silos and shit
community stuff. Yeah.
They're ready for their whatever it is going to happen, And so it's unfortunate that the people at YouTube don't really care about making, the greatest platform of free speech ever. They just don't care about it, because it could be that so easily, and it could make plenty of money. I mean, like I said, you put PewDiePie in charge of Google, and in 2 months it will be making money again.
Wouldn't that be incredible if something like that happened?
I mean, not Google, but YouTube. Yeah, fucking A, man.
Yeah, YouTube,
it makes so much sense. It makes so much more sense than these douchebag fucking executive types who haven't got a clue what the end user is fucking all about.
And they don't understand meme culture either, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, things that they find, like, I mean, I don't know. I was watching this video from, I think, 2015. And it was about memes, just in general. And it was talking about this meme that, I don't even remember what it was. It was fake. It was an altered picture that someone turned into a meme.
Yeah.
And there was some guy who was a hacker that was sending this to people's phones. And they wanted that meme completely scrubbed from the internet because some people found it, quote, disturbing. Right? Well, I think it's disturbing that you guys want to scrub and censor something someone's made. I mean, shit.
I think it's disturbing that you think that you can fucking take something off the internet. We want all the negatives. You bring us all the negatives. like that even exists, I mean, it's just
negative tube.
It's stupid. Oh well.
Anyway, politically speaking, before I go, man, it was good talking to you, Mike. But I got one last thing.
Okay, Ash.
What I see is going to happen going into Super Tuesday is it's just around the corner, because we're getting there. And day by day, what I predict is going to happen is they're going to keep pushing this Bernie bro shit. It's almost every 24 hours there's a new story, air quotes.
Yeah.
I think that Joe Biden, because of his win in South Carolina, the media is going to claim that he has restored, quote, momentum to his campaign. And third, Michael Bloomberg, they're going to be saying, well, we got to wait for Michael Bloomberg because he's going to come right on in.
Right.
And that might be the end-all, can-all, be-all. And that will prove, without a shadow of a doubt, that this stuff is fucking rigged. If Michael Bloomberg starts popping up in these states, and the polls don't reflect that.
If he starts pulling delegates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the strategy. There are a few delegates that have already said that their plan is once they get to the convention, they've already made up their mind.
Well, I keep seeing these. I mean, even these mainstream people talking about how the plan is to stop Sanders any way possible. Like they don't even realize that they're talking about themselves.
Yeah, because it's funny because when they put those sort of strategies out there, they're sort of like taking the megaphone and they're telling the whole voting base of the entire United States, and they're saying, we have already made up our mind, so your vote doesn't fucking count. So even if you vote for someone, we're just going to do a Hillary Clinton come to convention and just throw it all with that. And then at the same time, they counter that and they say, but that's the way our party is set up. We have these superdelegates. This is the way a democracy works. And that's not a democracy. It's one person, one vote. And they go by the percentage and the precincts and all these different things and who gets how many delegates. And these superdelegates completely throw out of whack that entire fucking system. And it's basically just a cheat. Just like a cheat code in a video game. Just, here's 500 extra delegates so I can do whatever I want with.
It's a total cheat. And they're doing everything they can to try and use it against Bernie Sanders. I just, over and over again, I hear these people talking about, brokered convention and doing everything they can to stop Bernie. And I don't know how they can look themselves in the face, in the mirror, knowing, and then they talk about how Russia tries to meddle in our elections,
Yeah, Yeah, and how the fuck does that work? I mean, Vladimir Putin hates communism. I mean, they're a very, very anti-communist country over there in Russia. Putin is very conservative, politically speaking. All of Russia is at this point. None of them want to go back to the Soviet Union, but they want to go back to the days of, like, the empire. I don't know if you're familiar with Alexander Dugin, but he's one of the top people in Russia. His material is required reading in Russian military academies.
Huh.
And their thing is they basically, without using military force, not all the time, but most of the time, they want to find a way to stitch the Soviet Union back together, but not have it communist. And that's not really working out so well. It's called the Eurasian Project. And one of their ways of doing that is having these military alliances with Syria, Iran, China, that sort of thing, Belarus. And that's worked out in their favor as a sovereign country, but stitching them back together isn't working. And then putting that with Tulsi Gabbard being a Russian spy, Donald Trump also being a Russian spy, and then Bernie being a communist, and so he's a Russian spy because of the Soviet Union and something about gulags. You know, and then it just, you know, I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. I mean, dude, I'm trying so hard not to laugh over the phone to you thinking about the absurdity of this shit. I mean, they couldn't even convince us that Donald Trump was a Russian, let alone Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I mean, you go Donald Trump, and then you look at Bernie Sanders, who's like anti-billionaire and all this stuff, and then it's like, hold on a second, why would Russia all of a sudden abandon Donald Trump and go with Sanders? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. What? And then the whole thing.
They're trying to destroy us from the inside out.
Hey, it is, dude. We need to have a new McCarthyism. I'm telling you, these Russians, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I mean, beef stroganoff, it's sold in Kroger. I'm telling you, Kroger might have something to do with it. They sell beef stroganoff. That's Russian.
I love beef stroganoff.
I do, too.
Hey, Ash, it's good to hear from you, man. It's good to hear from you.
All right, brother.
I hope we
right.
talk
Take
again
care,
soon.
man.
Okay, see ya.
Same here. Bye.
And that's our buddy Ash from Illinois. And I'm going to play a clip for you guys real quick here about Bernie Sanders talking about how he's tired of people like Mike Bloomberg.
Well, 2020 Democrats are looking ahead to Super Tuesday, just 3 days out. Candidates are spending the weekend, though, vying for votes ahead of the crucial contest. We have live Fox Team coverage from the campaign trail. Ellison Barber is following Mike Bloomberg and Amy Klobuchar's campaigns. But we begin with Mark Meredith. He is in Virginia Beach with the latest on the Sanders campaign. Mark.
Arthel, good afternoon to you. Virginia has some 99 delegates up for grabs on Tuesdays, and we're seeing all of the Democratic candidates do what they can to get out the vote. Where we are here is where Bernie Sanders is going to be holding a rally. You can see some of the folks that have lined up here all afternoon long for a chance to get inside. It is cold here, but that doesn't seem to be stopping the enthusiasm his supporters had. We have seen the campaign announce that they've had some 26,000 different people out there. 26,000 doors knocked on for Bernie Sanders today. He lost Virginia's primary 4 years ago to Hillary Clinton, but he says this time is different. Senator Sanders talked about his supporters earlier today and made it clear how he feels about one of his Democratic rivals.
And we're going to win this election because the American people are tired of a corrupt political system. We're tired of people like Mayor Bloomberg or anybody else. We are a democracy, not an oligarchy. We don't want billionaires buying elections.
Now, Michael Bloomberg, though, doesn't appear to be intimidated. He held an event in Northern Virginia this morning. He kept his attacks focused on President Trump. As Bloomberg was speaking not far from the White House, he also brought up the last Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton.
It's not as if this country was a utopia for women before 2016. And you can just go ask my friend Hillary Clinton. She'll tell you. We're going to have a big day on Tuesday. And it certainly won't be because of the men.
We also expect to see former Vice President Joe Biden on the ground here in Virginia. He won the endorsement of Senator Tim Kaine on Friday. The Biden campaign certainly will be out here to capitalize on that. But right now, from where we are, you can see these people are lined up and fired up for Bernie Sanders happening later on tonight. Arthel?
All right, Mark Meredith, thank you very much. Eric.
Orthel, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg would say he's funding a campaign, and he's getting that out while he's trying to make his mark, despite not being on the ballot in the first 3 early voting contests. His strategy is to hit it big on Super Tuesday. So today he is stumping in North Carolina, as is Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. Ellison Barber is live in Charlotte, where both candidates are holding campaign events. Hey, Ellison.
Hey, Eric, a lot of delegates, 110 to be exact, are up for grabs in this state. 4 candidates had events in North Carolina on their schedules today. Senator Amy Klobuchar and former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg will be in Charlotte this evening. Both of them are going to be speaking here at the Blue Celebration, an event hosted by North Carolina Democrats.
Going to have a big day on Tuesday.
I've run this as straightforwardly as I can, and I haven't done it for having a bunch of viral moments.
Obviously, Super Tuesday is a big day for Mike Bloomberg. It is the first time he'll actually be on ballots. The Bloomberg campaign has said they are heavily prioritizing North Carolina. They've spent more than $14 million on advertising in this state alone. They have over 125 staffers on the ground. That's not including volunteers, and 8 offices. Right now, North Carolina seems to be a 3-way tie. The latest state poll has Biden, Sanders, and Bloomberg within 6 points of each other. Bloomberg has strongly criticized President Trump and his handling of the coronavirus. He released an ad about it earlier this week, and now we're told he's going to air what his campaign is describing as a taped 3-minute address to the nation tomorrow night at 8:30 during commercial breaks on NBC and CBS. Listen here.
As Americans, we've faced many challenges before, and we have overcome them together by looking out for one another. And I'm confident that is how we will get through this one as well. I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Senator Amy Klobuchar has struggled to gain traction despite her strong finish in New Hampshire. People have suggested, some even told her that she should drop out of the race. She has strongly pushed back on those suggestions, saying that so far only 3% of people have actually voted. And her campaign likes to point out that in the raw vote totals so far, they are still in 3rd place. When she makes it here tonight in North Carolina, it will be her 4th visit to a Super Tuesday state since this morning. Eric.
All right, Ellison, thanks so much. Orthel?
I don't see anybody. There's nobody here. What are you barking about? Stop barking. Sorry about that. Dog's barking. Got to make sure there's nobody here. Let's see. And we are tired of people like Mike Bloomberg, right? People like Mike Bloomberg need to go fucking spend all their money doing something else besides fucking politics. Douchebag. This big old beefy fucking puff is for Scott, who is my 23-year fan who called last night and made a contribution, and then I didn't take a dab for him on Dabs for Donations Friday. So this one's for you, Scott. In case you're around, I'm sure you got better things to do on a Saturday night. But that one's for you. And we put together T-shirt bag goodies for you. It should be in the mail very soon. I put it together last night myself. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Thanks so much for all your help, Scott. I was waiting for that one. I feel much better now. Okay, so, and I have a couple more clips for you guys. Do you want to see more clips? I have, let's see what the latest update on the, let's see, we have, 64% reported in. Is that what it says? 64? Wait, had to go back. 63.91% reporting in, apparently. And those are the results so far, in case anybody's keeping track. So if those totals stay like that, Bernie Sanders will receive delegates from South Carolina. But if the percentages stay like they are now, he will be the only one to receive delegates. I thought I had that up here somewhere. Not that one. That one? Nope. That one? Nope. Oh, Trump says he can ignore medical marijuana protections passed by Congress. Important information. Don't forget, that's who Donald Trump is. He's gonna fuck with sick people if he wants to fuck with sick people over them growing flowers. What a douchebag. But who the fuck cares? We have more important things to worry about. So I have a coronavirus update from the local news, because there was the first death from coronavirus in the United States has happened in the Seattle area. So I have a local news story about that if you want a coronavirus update. It appears that we are that they're holding strong at 69% of the vote in. So we'll update that momentarily. Right, 69%, is that what it says? 66%. 66%. 65%. All right. Well, we're getting there. It's pretty much the same, but it looks like it's not going to change from that. But again, I have this feeling where they count all the places where they know that it will be the most pro-Biden first, just like they did in Iowa, where they count all the Buttigieg vote areas first. It's all a load of crap. And they're gonna and that's what's gonna happen, is if they just keep pulling their shenanigans, that they're just gonna alienate all the voters, and the only money that's gonna be available to them at all is gonna be money from fucking billionaires, which I guess they're okay with, because they don't have any problem with a Republican running as a Democrat, as long as he's got $1 billion to spend in cash on hand, ready to spend right now. Sure, you can run as a Democrat, no problem, sir. Did I say sir? I meant master. I meant master, not sir, master. The Taliban signed a peace deal with the U.S. government today. So we should start a pool to see how long that lasts. You think it'll make it until the election? Just in time for the election. Can you imagine? The Taliban has signed a peace deal with the United States just in time for the election. What are the odds? What a coincidence, huh? Huh?
The United States and the Taliban have signed an historic agreement which could see thousands of American troops withdraw from Afghanistan in the next 14 months. As part of the deal signed in Qatar, the Taliban must begin peace talks with the Afghan government and break with al-Qaeda. Our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, reports.
Sworn enemies shake hands on a deal. A first step towards ending America's longest war. A glimpse of hope that Afghanistan can finally move towards peace. But today the US's top diplomat warned it all depends on the Taliban.
First, keep your promises to cut ties with al-Qaeda and other terrorists. Keep up the fight to defeat ISIS. Welcome the profound relief of all Afghan citizens, men and women, urban and rural, as a result of this past week's massive reduction in violence, and dedicate yourselves to continued reductions.
History is being made in this moment. This is not a peace deal, but it is a significant step forward. And for all the uncertainty and skepticism, Afghans know this is their best chance to move towards peace in a very long time. For now, Taliban are celebrating this moment on the world stage. Their message, we won the war. And their confident step worries Afghans who question their commitment to peace.
We will work together to make Afghanistan stable Afghanistan, peaceful Afghanistan, and to make more progress. The Taliban, which I understand, they are not interested in continuing fighting in Afghanistan.
In the Afghan capital, Kabul, under grey skies, the US also sent a message to the Afghan government and people that their troops won't leave in haste, won't leave Afghans on their own just yet. Lise Doucette, BBC News, Doha.
Well, at a news conference a short while ago, President Trump said he hopes the agreement will mark the beginning of the end of Afghanistan's longest war.
In Afghanistan, 19 years, going on 20 years, and there hasn't been a moment like this. We've had very successful negotiations. We think they'll be successful in the end. The other side's tired of war. Everybody's tired of war. That's been a particularly long and gruesome one. And I want to congratulate President Ghani and the people of Afghanistan. I want to remember all of the people, all of the great, great men and women that have lost their lives in the war, and to their parents and wives and husbands and families, brothers and sisters.
Well, Michael Kugelman is Deputy Director of the Asia Program at the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington.
Well, how do I talk bad about our president?
You talk bad about Trump because he's an idiot, and he is an idiot, so...
Okay, well, Trump is an idiot, so, yeah, I agree with that. See?
Yeah.
See, we're not that far apart. I don't know why you can't just be like that all the time. Talk about stuff that matters, man.
Because I'm a troll.
Oh, well, hate that noise. Oh, well, so the phones are hot. I sorry if I interrupted that clip while you were listening. I wish I could pause the clips, but I can't seem to find a way to be able to pause the clip in the middle of playing it, because I'd like to be able to talk in the middle of playing the clip. Hello, caller.
You don't know how to pause a clip, you fucking old bastard bitch. Drunk, weed smoking whore, ugly, hobo.
I knew that noise was coming. Again, the phone line is open clearly. 805-669-6397. It's, you know, I was talking to them during most of that clip, and then they started talking like human beings for half a second, and I was like, oh, I better put this on microphone, otherwise no one's ever going to believe it. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Craig's not here, so I can't block the numbers right now. But trust me, if you keep that up, they'll get blocked. Anyways, so I didn't mean to cut that clip off, but again, they were talking as if they were human beings momentarily, and I thought, oh, we're going to have to record this for prosperity, because what are the odds of them ever talking like they're human beings again, right? So that's why I cut that video short. My apologies. Hello, caller.
Hey, what's up, bitch?
See? Very small chance of them talking like human beings again, especially if they know that they're actually being listened to by more than just me. So that's why I cut the video off, because it was like remarkable. I was like, uh-oh, everybody needs to hear this. Fuck the video. Fuck the video. But I have a couple more videos for you. I will play this one to make up for it.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Sure, because it's free, you fucking idiot.
Really? You want stuff because it's free? That's the priority for you? Is it something is free so you want it?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Lots of things are free.
You know, t-shirts are cool to have, especially when they're free.
T-shirts.
Yeah, we want a weed smoking t-shirt.
T-shirts are cool. I have a bunch of weed smoking t-shirts. I should give some of those away, huh? I have a bunch of I Grow Weed t-shirts. You want an I Grow Weed t-shirt?
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, maybe we'll give one of those away on Friday.
My mom will love that one.
I bet she would.
No, I'm being sarcastic, but whatever. It doesn't really bother me. Sarcasm is lost on the weak.
I guess so. They're pretty funny. All right, especially when they're not saying stupid shit. They're pretty funny. So let's see. 71%. Joe Biden. 49%. 71%. That's what it says there. Over here we got 70. Oh, we got 74% here. Hold on. Look at that. 74%. Doesn't seem to change at all. So, I guess Joe Biden's career lives on for another day. Oh, yay, right? Isn't that great for all of us? Joe Biden's political career. It could, South Carolina. There's got to be the Republicans, right? I mean, it's an open primary, so the Republicans can go and vote for a Democrat. That's what that means, open primary. So it's got to be Republicans going to vote for who they see as the weakest candidate. And boom. And also I saw that there was a bunch of numbers, that there was like a whole bunch more people voting this year than in the last election. So it's like, you know, and people don't really come out for primaries that much. So it's kind of suspicious. My guess is a bunch of Republicans voted Joe Biden because the Republicans have been coached that they should be voting for Joe Biden by Trump people. Hello, caller.
Hey, where's my free t-shirt, bro?
we're down to only one left, so we're probably going to have to give it away on Friday. If you're here on Friday, you have just as good a chance or better than most people, because you seem to be much better at dialing the phone than most people.
Let me see if I work. No, I work on Friday.
Oh, damn. What kind of job do you? What kind of job do you have?
Who gives a fuck? Everybody works. What does anybody fucking? What you think everybody fucking makes money or something?
What's that?
Yes. You dumb bitch. It's not a crazy concept that someone works.
No, I'm sure. What? I'm just wondering what you do. You a bud tender or?
A bud tender?
Yeah.
No, I'm a garbage man.
Oh, nice. That pays pretty well, right?
Yeah, bro.
Excellent. Well, keep up the good work, man.
Yeah.
But you collect trash at night?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I never heard of that before.
It's a special kind of group of people that collect trash
at night.
Yeah, bro.
Right on. Well, you keep up the good work, okay?
No, fuck you. Go fuck yourself.
All right, thanks for calling.
No, fuck you.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Go fuck yourself.
All right, we'll talk to you. We'll give away a T-shirt on Friday, hopefully. And I didn't hang up on him. We'll give away a T-shirt on Friday, hopefully, and you will win because you have put in the time to win a T-shirt. So hopefully you will maybe win or not. Especially if you keep acting like a decent, like you're able to converse like a human being. You're getting so much better at it. I really think you can do it. All right, so let's play another clip then. Cannabis. All right, let's see. Hello? Hello? All right. Let's see. Cannabis used as an opioid alternative. How about that? Which is what I keep saying. People, if they have an option other than that kind of medication, opioid type medication, people will, as the vast majority, will turn to cannabis again and again, especially if it's readily available and distributed so they don't have to smoke it or whatever. Because people think, oh, I don't want to smoke. I don't want to smoke weed. So cannabis as an opioid alternative.
Who comes to mind when you hear the words cannabis user?
As Lori Matsukawa points out, it could very well be your grandmother as cannabis comes out of the closet.
It's a deep muscle rub, and I use it on my right shoulder and my arm.
Connie Schick used to take the painkiller Percocet after her stroke.
Ruins your stomach for one thing, and it makes you addictive to them. And this is not addictive.
But now she uses a cannabis cream for chronic pain.
You know, you can feel the muscles just kind of relaxing.
Well, good morning, folks. Again, I'm Kelly Ogilvie. I'm the founder of a company called Deep Cell, and we work on technology in cannabis.
Kelly Ogilvie gives talks like these at assisted living campuses a lot because residents like Connie want to learn more about cannabis, specifically cannabidiol, CBD.
CBD is a non-psychoactive chemical in the plant, meaning if you take CBD, it doesn't get you psychoactively high.
Ogilvy explains how the Chinese discovered the healing properties of cannabis nearly 5,000 years ago, how healers in India used the plant for medicine 3,000 years ago, as did the Egyptians, who used it to treat inflammation and glaucoma.
You don't have to trust me. You can just literally ask my sister Sasha right here.
But Ogilvy need only look at his sister, Sasha, to know CBD can be a lifesaver. Her epilepsy caused seizures. She fell and dislocated her shoulder, hurt her knees. She got hooked on opioid painkillers for 6 years.
I had made a decision that I never wanted to take opioids again because it caused a lot of destruction in our family and for myself.
But when her brother suggested CBD sugar, she initially said no.
I don't want to go to a dispensary. I don't want to look like, you know, a pothead.
After trying CBD sugar, Sasha not only managed her pain, she cut her evening epilepsy dosage in half. She's been seizure-free since 2008.
I can't believe this works better than what the doctors had prescribed me.
Dr. Nefi Stella at the University of Washington School of Medicine has been studying cannabis for 25 years.
Can grandma overdose on cannabidiol?
No. Currently, there is no aspect of cannabidiol that we understand that would actually harm grandma or anybody else.
He says CBD has proven therapeutic qualities. He says researchers are very sure CBD can reduce seizures and help fight glioblastomas. And he says it's very likely CBD helps with pain, anxiety, PTSD, and some cancers.
Cannabinoids have a very good safety profile. It all depends on doses and how much you take and how often.
And so what companies like what we're doing is...
For Kelly Ogilvy, cannabidiol is medicine people are seeking and finding.
And the real beauty of it is that the cannabinoids are cheap. Relatively speaking, it's really affordable medicine for people. My sister is proof of the effect it can have, and so it's personal for me.
Lori Matsukawa, King 5 News.
Again, researchers say you cannot overdose on CBD because cannabis is still a Schedule I drug, the same classification as heroin and cocaine. It's extremely difficult to get research permits and grants. And this is particularly frustrating for researchers who see cannabis as an effective and relatively inexpensive treatment for cancer, epilepsy, and Alzheimer's.
Do Not Disturb is off the phone if anybody wants to call 805-669-6397. That's an older clip, but again, it's what I keep saying, is that the opioid overdose deaths go down in states where they have legalized marijuana, even only legalized medical marijuana. Opioid deaths go down. I mean, not opioid, overdose deaths go down. I played a clip for you yesterday where it said in Utah, prescription medication is the #1 cause of death, right? That's horrible. Hello. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So I was just wondering, who do you think the next one to drop out of the race is going to be?
I would guess it would be Amy Klobuchar, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What about Tom Steyer? Do you think he's going to drop out?
Well, what else is he going to do besides run for president? He is going to eventually drop out, would be my guess, but I don't think just yet, you know.
Yeah. Do you think any of them will drop out before Tuesday?
No.
No. You think they're all going to stay and wait and see what happens, huh?
Yeah, I think the whole thing with all these people still in the field, the whole plan is just to try and get any delegates they can away from Bernie Sanders.
Right, right. So how long do you think Elizabeth Warren will stay in? Do you think she'll stay in all the way to the end?
I doubt it. She just got like $9 million from some super PAC though, so she has a little bit of money to hang out and stick around for a while if she wants to, especially if they're going to back that money up again, you know?
Yeah. So do you think if they go to the broker convention or whatever, they'll put Hillary out there again?
I don't think so. I really don't. But because Bloomberg is probably better than Hillary because he'll have money to throw around that she won't have.
Yeah.
But if it goes to a broker convention, all bets are kind of off,
Right. Yeah. It might be somebody that didn't even run. Right. Is that how that works?
It could be someone who didn't even run, like you said, like Hillary.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I thought happened, but I wasn't sure. I've never seen one before in my lifetime.
I don't remember ever seeing one either.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was really all I wanted to ask you, man. Thanks for doing everything you do, and it was real cool talking to you.
Okay, well, thank you for calling. I really appreciate it. I hope we. What's your name?
Dave.
Dave. All right, Dave. It's good to hear from you. I hope we talk again before too long.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Bye.
You too. Bye. Dave. Hey, that was nice to hear from Dave. Again, this drug war thing is just it has the opposite effect of its intended outcome. And, the whole idea is to protect people from the drugs that are going to destroy our community, and the drugs are fucking everywhere in our community. They always will be. You can put the death penalty out, and there's gonna be drugs all over the community. Okay, it's true, because people get high. It's part of it's part of human history. It's who we are. It's who we've always been. Or at least from what I understand, it's who we've always been. First cultivated plant in known human history is hemp. So, and again, the founding fathers, George Washington. I think it might have been Thomas Jefferson said the best advice I can give the American farmer is make the most of the hemp plant. George Washington grew hemp. I have read an excerpt from Benjamin Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac. Is that what it's called? From his almanac, where he talks about he's like beating himself up because he let his hemp plants go to seed, and the only reason that it would matter that your hemp plants went to seed is if you were going to smoke those fucking flowers, and now they're all fucked because they're full of seeds. So otherwise it wouldn't make a whole lot of difference. So I find that very telling. Let's see. It looks like it says 89% of the vote is in. Is that what it says over here? 89%. Is that where we're at? We got 84% over here. Would say 86% there. 84% says pretty much the same thing. Fucking Biden has considerable lead, and whatever. So that's 80, 84, 85% of the vote right there that I'm showing you. In case anybody's wondering. Not that it really matters, although I really, really hope to see the end of the Joe Biden professional political career, because that's what he's been his whole life, is a professional politician. And I don't think that that's what the government was intended, to be, but with the two-party system, that's what we're always going to get, right? Giant douche or a turd sandwich. Speaking of which, this is the way that they are. Oh, hold on. This is the way. This is what my shit looks like. In case anybody's wondering, this is the way. This is the way that they're saying the delegates break down now. If Sanders gets 8 delegates, And it says estimate, so 20 unassigned. What the fuck does that mean, right? Oh, those are the ones that we're going to give to whoever it is we can give them to that's going to fuck with Bernie Sanders. Duh. How can you not know who that is? Unassigned. Come on. What are you, new? Are you new today? No, I am not. So we will see what happens, I suppose. I have more videos. If you'd like to see another video, I will play another video for you, and I will heat up my lovely dab rig to get ready for a lovely dab while it is heating, while it's playing for you. Yesterday I played a story about Jay-Z writing a letter to the government about Mississippi, I think it's Mississippi prisons and it being like a dungeon type of fucking conditions in for-profit prisons. So I have a little bit bigger story about that than Jay-Z's letter. And I will play that for you here because you know I despise the police state.
152 inmates at the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman filed a complaint on Wednesday, alleging they've been subjected to inhumane conditions, such as a lack of water, moldy food, and hundreds of other environmental deficiencies. The complaint, filed in the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of Mississippi, says, in part, the conditions of confinement at Parchman are so barbaric, the deprivation of health and mental health care so extreme, and the defects in security so severe that the people confined at Parchman live a miserable and hopeless existence, confronted daily by imminent risk of substantial harm in violation of their rights under the U.S. Constitution. Inmates say they are kept in conditions not even suitable for animals. The filing points to a state health department report that details issues such as moldy food containers and undercooked food adulterated with foreign matter. It also found that cells lack water, power, lights, and mattresses, while other parts of the facility had flooding issues, exposed wiring, and mold or mildew. Beyond that, the filing says the ratio of prisoners to guards is 160 to 1, and that results in rampant violence among prisoners. It argues that leads to physical and psychological trauma. What's more, it says the prison does not provide adequate health care for people with wounds or chronic conditions, and that mental health care is non-existent. 92 inmates named in the complaint are housed in Unit 29, which is Parchman's most notorious unit. In January, Governor Tate Reeves ordered the unit be closed after 9 inmates died there within a month. Nearly 20 inmates have died in 4 state prisons since late December, which led the U.S. Justice Department to open a civil rights investigation into the Mississippi Department of Corrections earlier this month. Rappers Jay-Z and Yo Gotti have hired the attorneys to sue on the inmates' behalf. As Newsy has previously reported, Jay-Z sent a letter to then-Governor Phil Bryant and then-Corrections Department Commissioner Palisha Hall saying the conditions at Mississippi prisons were inhumane and unconstitutional. Hall resigned in December. One man who was recently released from Parchman's Unit 29 told CBS News, "I understand we're incarcerated, but you're still supposed to treat us like humans. I know it ain't supposed to be easy for us, but it ain't supposed to be that hard with our living conditions."
Oh. All right, so I have a nice dab here ready to go. If anybody else would like to join me in a fat dabby, it's just about ready here. And otherwise, it says 86% still counted on the vote, so nothing's changed there. All right. And the Do Not Disturb is not on the phone, so you can call anytime if you like. The number 805-669-6397. It's 805 Mox News. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so be sure and set your schedule for our regular Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m., which is also a call-in show if you're not already familiar with it. And otherwise, I have more videos. I have, I guess I have, well, Idaho just passed a law that says you cannot identify, or you can't change your birth certificate other than to say something different than the sex that you were born as. Something like that. I have that story, which I thought was interesting. And I don't care what you want to identify as. I really don't. It doesn't matter to me. I want you to be free, and I want you to live the most fulfilled life possible in the freest manner possible that suits you the absolute best. As long as you're not going around hurting other people. If you're messing with other people, but if you're just living your life, then I don't care. I don't care. And it's not that I don't care either. I do care. I want you to be able to live your life. I want everybody to be able to live their life. That's the way things were intended. You can say, oh, things were intended for it to be a man and a woman or whatever. I don't care. The way things I know were intended to be is that you're the top of the food chain. You can decide without being babysat how you want to live your life. And what I think doesn't matter. Unless you're hurting other people. Then, then we're all going to get together and put you down, because we can't have people going around taking advantage of or hurting other people. It's just not right. One way or another, we're coming for you. So that's what I got. Oh, and I also have the video that I posted earlier of all three, Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN, projecting Joe Biden to be the winner with 0% of the vote counted. Which I guess he won apparently, but it seems like if he's gonna win overwhelmingly, why are they so desperate to, with 0% of the vote counted, to insist to us that he's the winner? How does that make them look credible, right? You want me to play that video? I don't know. It's so strange to me that they think that that's what their job is to be the very first people to announce that Joe Biden is the winner with 0% of the vote counted. We can announce now. The second the polls close, we can announce it. It's kind of messed up, right? There's something kind of messed up there. Did you guys see that video? There's something messed up there, I'm telling you. I can play that video. I'll play it now. I'm good at playing videos.
Stand by as polls close in South Carolina. It is now 7 o'clock on the East Coast, and Fox News Decision Desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will decisively win the South Carolina Democratic presidential primary, giving a major boost to his flagging campaign after losses in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. Biden will easily defeat Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders in the Palmetto State, who is currently in second place ahead of billionaire Tom Steyer, who spent a lot of money in South Carolina. Bringing up the rear, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, and Tulsi Gabbard. This will be the first state won by Biden in 3 presidential campaigns, driven in large part by his popularity among African-American voters, who comprise in South Carolina roughly half of the voters in this Democratic primary. According to the Fox News voter analysis, a survey of 1,500 likely Democratic primary voters in the state. A lot of people ask, why can we make this call? It's because our decision desk is that good.
So here's the countdown against our big board here in the studio as we approach 7 o'clock Eastern time. And it's time to tell you that NBC News is projecting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Joe Biden will win when all the votes are counted in South Carolina. Let's remember, this is his first primary victory. Let's remember, this is only the second primary. And let's show you Biden headquarters, where we couldn't help but notice earlier that this network's coverage was on their big board. Rachel Maddow.
This is obviously what the Biden campaign was hoping for. It was why they were projecting all of this confidence. I will say that it does matter that we are having a poll closing projection. The polls closed at 7. This projection of this victory is at poll closing.
Tuesday is going to be huge. Polls are about to close in South Carolina. This is a make or break moment for Joe Biden's presidential campaign, and we can now make a major projection. CNN projects that Joe Biden is the winner in South Carolina. This is the former vice president's first primary victory. He was counting on South Carolina to help keep his campaign going. This gives Biden a much-needed boost as he looks to challenge the frontrunner Bernie Sanders on Super Tuesday. That's only 3 days from now. Joe Biden, the winner of the South Carolina Democratic primary. Dana, a major win for the former vice president. He desperately needed it. He got it.
You can't.
I mean, do you get the feeling like they just want to tell us who the winner of the primary is, right? Right now? I mean, the whole who the vice presidential primary or the presidential primary for the Democrat, who the winner is right now, because they can't wait for one fucking vote to be counted. And they have to fucking, Biden won. Why is it so hair on fire? You need to know this right now, before even one vote has been counted. It's like they really would have liked to count, it's like when Bernie Sanders lost the nomination on the 2016 vote. It was the night before the California vote, right? California is set to vote. And the Associated Press called the race, projected the race for Hillary Clinton before the night of California, the biggest delegate block on the map, and they say, oh, Hillary Clinton's got the nomination clinched the night before it. So what's the point in voting? You guys don't need to vote. It's a done deal. Just don't even bother, California. I despise these people. I despise them. They're the worst of the worst. Like Donald Trump says, but he says it because they're talking about him. He's not saying it because they're all telling us what we're supposed to think. He's not saying it because they don't investigate anything like Jeffrey Epstein or, the Twin Towers or Building 7. You ask any one of these talking head pieces of shit about Building 7, and they'll say, I never heard of Building 7. What's Building 7? Okay. So that's how full of shit they are. It's true. And they're just such backstabbing, full of shit people who all couldn't wait to have Julian Assange on their programs and get interviews with Julian Assange so that they could be part of this amazing breaking story, historical event. And now Julian Assange is the worst person on earth. And not one of the pieces of shit cover him. Everything else is more important than Julian Assange. Fucking assholes. I despise them as much as one can be despised. More than Donald Trump. Believe it or not. Because I despise them all. It's not like I go, oh, I like this one. Because there isn't one. You go, oh, I like this one. I kind of like that one. She's, this lady right here, Alexandria Rojas. I find her very interesting. She has been calling the media out from what I've seen a few times. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's like Assange, if anybody doesn't think he's a journalist, right? You know, and it's one of those things. First they came for these people. First they came for Assange, right? And all these journalists said nothing. And that's how the evildoers poem goes, right? You said nothing. When you were supposed to stand up, when you had the microphone and everybody was listening and you could fight for what's right, you said nothing. That's who you spineless prostitutes are. And it's so sad that the land of the free has spineless for-sale fucking prostitutes to be the watchdogs for a completely corrupt police state. Disgusting. Every one of you belongs in prison. And this is why, this is the difference between me and Donald Trump. Donald Trump has ones that he likes, he thinks are the good ones. And you know why? Because they say the right things. That's the only reason that he doesn't like any of them, is because they say unkind things about him. That's not what makes them bullshit and garbage. It's because they sell the American people down a river. And should be held accountable. And maybe that's partially what they're afraid of too with Bernie Sanders, is that somehow there's going to be like a new sheriff in town, and if you're, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're more afraid than just their paycheck, but at the same time, their paycheck is, you know, is their god. Money is their god. These people, at least the people on television, clearly, you know, in the news media, money is their god. Maui noon. Maui, this is a Maui Nyan. Maui. I love Maui. I spent 2 years on Maui. A lot of it naked. A great place. Maui is where I became one with the earth, which is nice. So, you guys want to update on, I got a local Washington news story about, or Seattle news story about the first coronavirus death in the United States happening in the Seattle area. Would you like me to play that story for you? Play the fucking video. I wish I could hear you guys, and I wish you guys could just shout, play the fucking video! Because that's what I would do if I had the opportunity. If someone asked me that question. Okay, I'm going to play the video, and I'll be back momentarily. So don't go anywhere. Clip 8. working on a Saturday. 86% on the vote still. Nothing's changed. That's where it stands right at this moment, according to CNN. If anybody's wondering about where it's at right at this moment, that's where it's at right at this moment. And I'm going to play the clip for you now. This is Washington State, first death of coronavirus in the United States in the Seattle area is where it happened. And here's a local news story for that.
Breaking as we come on the air, the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. becomes deadly.
It's here, and it's going to be here with us in the U.S. for quite a while.
Washington State saw the first U.S. case. Now it has seen the first U.S. death.
We believe that these are cases of community-acquired transmission acquired here in King County.
Now officials worry even more people could come down with the virus.
Like anything, what we're seeing is the tip of the iceberg.
It is certainly a sad day in our state. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michelle Esteban.
And I'm Gabe Cohen. We start right now with the growing coronavirus concerns and a troubling update. We now know a man from King County is the first U.S. death related to the disease.
That patient passed away at Evergreen Health in Kirkland. And as we come on the air, we are also learning, new tonight, Kirkland and Redmond firefighters involved in patient care right now under quarantine out of a quote-unquote abundance of caution.
We are bringing you live team coverage at 4 on that case and the 3 patients now being monitored.
KOMO's Suzanne Fon leads us off tonight with a news conference that just wrapped up a short time ago. Suzanne, what have you learned?
Well, the CDC will be here tomorrow with extra teams to help with expanded testing around here. We also learned that the King County had just activated its Office of Emergency Operations Center, and just today we learned that health authorities announced that there are 3 new presumptive positive cases of coronavirus, and in one case, a person has died.
Today, Public Health Seattle and King County is announcing 3 new presumptive positive cases of novel coronavirus, COVID-19, including 1 person who died.
New information about coronavirus cases close to home. Public health authorities say there are 2 confirmed cases at Life Center Nursing Facility in Kirkland, King County. That includes a healthcare worker and then a resident. 1 case involving a man who died from coronavirus. He was a patient at Evergreen Health Hospital, a man in his 50s with underlying health conditions.
Our deep and sincere condolences to the family members and loved ones of the person who died.
Public Health says it's in the beginning stages of this investigation, and new details and information will emerge in the next few days and weeks.
And we're in the process of investigating this situation as an outbreak.
Health authorities emphasize now is not the time to panic.
We do feel that the risk to the general public is increasing, but as Dr. Duchin said, we do not feel that the risk that transmission is occurring on a widespread basis by any means.
They say it's time to be prepared, to take precautions and refer to public health officials for best practices,
such as washing your hands and staying home from work and school when you're sick.
And to date, public health authorities say there are a total of 6 presumptive positive cases of coronavirus in Washington. That means 2 in Snohomish County and 4 in King County. And you may recall that very first positive case of coronavirus in the entire country was here in Washington State. That was back in January in Snohomish County. Now, we understand that more people are being tested, and the results are expected later today and in upcoming days. We're live in Seattle. Suzanne Fon, KOMO News.
All right, a lot of information that came out of that press conference. We're going to come back to you, Suzanne, so we can go over some of that. Governor Inslee released a statement today about the unfortunate death in our state. He said, in part, it is a sad day in our state as we learn that a Washingtonian has died. We will continue to work towards a day where no one dies from this virus.
And Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan also just released a statement writing, quote, although there are no cases in the city of Seattle, we have been preparing as a city since January. She added that the city is in close contact with state health officials.
And as we just learned, that death did occur at the Evergreen Health Medical Center in Kirkland.
KOMO's Nick Popham has been there throughout the day. He continues our team coverage now as we learn 1 person still in isolation at that medical center. Nick?
Yeah, and Evergreen Health Medical Center says that they're continuing to provide the appropriate amount of treatment for that person that's still in isolation. But sadly, this is the spot where that man in his 50s died. I'm going to step out of the frame so you can see a live look at Evergreen Health Medical Center right now. We have seen some people coming in and out with masks on, but Evergreen Health is asking people to stay away from the campus here in Kirkland while they continue to treat the other person with the coronavirus and, of course, the other patients that are still inside. According to the medical center, the man had underlying health conditions that prompted the hospital to test him and another person for the coronavirus. He had been dealing with respiratory issues, but officials say the man hadn't been traveling to any of those countries dealing with the coronavirus. They say he has no link to the nursing facility that's also here in Kirkland that has been dealing with some respiratory issues. Throughout the day, we've seen people in masks inside the building, as I mentioned, but there's been no outward commotion going on from what we can see from the outside. Now, Dr. Frank Rito is the medical director of infection control and prevention for Evergreen Health and says the work is far from over.
We have additional individuals that are being tested, and in conjunction with the state health department and the state lab, we should have additional information later today.
And additionally, Evergreen Health did release a statement saying in part that that patient came to our facility with serious respiratory issues, and following guidelines set by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Evergreen Health tested the patient for COVID-19, and that test was positive. And back out here live, you can see the hospital once again. Evergreen Health did tweet out a reminder to telling people to stay away from the campus if they can. Even with that said, we're told that they're still keeping the emergency room, the central entrance, and the western entrance open. For now, live in Kirkland, Nick Popham, KOMO News.
And Nick, we know the hospital is trying to respect the privacy of the man who died, but is there anything else we're learning about who he is, where he came from, how he might have come in contact with the virus?
Well, all we know of right now is that he wasn't traveling. That's been kind of the main thing they had mentioned, that he hadn't been traveling to any of those countries like Italy or South Korea or China that's dealing with that significant outbreak of the coronavirus. They say that it's potentially through person-to-person contact. They mentioned that it was most likely not from the hospital itself, most likely beforehand, because he was dealing with severe respiratory issues when he made his way into the hospital earlier this week.
All right, Nick, thanks very much. We appreciate that.
Also in Kirkland, 2 confirmed cases of coronavirus are being reported at a long-term care facility. One of them a worker, the other a resident there. And there's concern that even more people may be sick. KOMO's Cole Miller live at Life Care Center of Kirkland. And Cole, you saw someone who's being put in an ambulance just a little while ago.
We did, Gabe, and that ambulance just left moments ago, about a minute before you came to our shot here. The driver of that ambulance wearing a face mask. She had protective wear on over her shirt as well. Plenty of fear and concern out this way. We know that visitors, volunteers, and vendors are all being turned away amid what they're calling a respiratory outbreak. I'll step out of the way here, give you a live picture as an employee, it looks like, walks out there wearing a face mask. Again, as you mentioned, 2 people here contracted that virus. We know that neither of them traveled. Now, also at around 2 o'clock, we saw Kirkland Fire paramedics respond here, and workers in protective gear bring someone out on a stretcher. We're still waiting to learn what that's all about. We were hoping we would know that by now, but in a statement that was just put out, it didn't clarify. Now, in addition to the 2 people with coronavirus, more than 50 are reporting respiratory issues. Some have been hospitalized with pneumonia. One worker showing up for her shift today wanted me to keep my distance. She said she was not feeling well. Nearly all staff we've seen throughout the day are wearing masks. Now, we also spoke with a woman who was coming to visit her brother here. He's in rehab after an injury. Take a listen to what she has to say.
I don't know what to think yet, really. I know they'll do the best they can to contain it. I'm not worried. Maybe they'll close his bedroom door, you know.
Now, I also had the chance to speak with a woman who does contract work here. She is a phlebotomist. That's someone who draws blood. She tells me they haven't moved or necessarily isolated anyone inside the facility, and that those signs warning of no visitors here just went up today. Now, as we come back out here live, we have learned that the firefighters with Kirkland Fire who responded to this facility are in quarantine. We don't have a number on that just yet, but we also know that 7 firefighters with Redmond are in quarantine, some at home, some at Station 13. That station's services have not been impacted, and within the last 15 minutes, we've learned that 3 Woodinville firefighters are also under quarantine. Okay, Michelle?
All right, Cole, thanks very much. Now, you mentioned that 50 people there do have respiratory issues. What can you tell us about how they're being treated?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. We were hoping to get that in a statement that was just delivered to us about 20 minutes ago, but it doesn't really specify what's being done with those folks here. We know that some of them are hospitalized with pneumonia, others showing respiratory symptoms with an unknown cause. Again, as we mentioned earlier in this show, everyone who has been confirmed with this coronavirus, they haven't traveled. So we know the CDC is sending a team and that this care facility will be working very closely with the CDC to try to isolate and identify just exactly what's going on here.
All right, Cole, thanks very much. We appreciate that. In a news conference today, President Trump confirmed the death in our state and announced new efforts to combat the spread of the coronavirus. The president said there are 22 known cases of coronavirus right now in the U.S. He also announced some travel restrictions on visitors from Iran and advised Americans not to travel to certain regions in Italy and South Korea. The president said he would be meeting with large drug makers on Monday.
They'll be coming to the White House, and we're talking about a vaccine and developing very quickly, and they've already started working on it, developing very rapidly a vaccine for the virus, to combat the virus.
Mr. Trump said additional cases are likely, but stressed there is no reason to panic.
Right now in Bellevue, a patient with, quote, extreme flu-like symptoms is being tested for the coronavirus at Overlake Hospital. A spokesperson says the patient checked in yesterday and is now in isolation. We're still waiting to get an update on that person's condition. We'll let you know the test results once they come in.
Just last night, the Washington Department of Health announced 2 presumably new cases of coronavirus. They include a high school student in Snohomish County. Here is a live look from Jackson High School in Mill Creek, where that 15-year-old boy attends school. He has no travel history, and officials are unsure how he possibly contracted the virus. Everett Public Schools say the school will be closed through Monday for deep disinfecting. The other is a woman in her 50s from King County. The department says the results from the individual test came back preemptively positive, and so now they are waiting on official confirmation from the CDC. Officials say both are home, self-managing, and needed no care.
Kids will be going back to school on Monday at Bothell High School. A staff member's relative tested negative for coronavirus after taking a trip overseas with that staff member. The school closed on Thursday and Friday for an extensive cleaning out of an abundance of caution. The superintendent says they've been told by health officials that there is no risk to the students. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the symptoms of coronavirus are similar to the seasonal flu. They include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. If you think you have these symptoms, call your doctor. Do not go into a hospital. That will limit transmission if you do.
KOMO News is committed to keeping you informed about the COVID-19 coronavirus.
Sorry that clip's so long. They just kept going on and on and on and on. But it's all interesting information. And I thought that you might, I thought that you guys that are the news hounds might want to, know something about the story of the first death in the U.S. and all that. Hello, caller.
Hey, Moxie, this is Maui Nian here. I just heard your shout out, and you lived on Maui for a while. I wanted to tune in and just say a little piece. The overreaction from the media on the coronavirus is actually, I think, a good thing, even though it's probably in this case a scare tactic and make everybody paranoid and run to your grocery store and. People are like literally wiping out Lysol and stuff, which is antibacterial and not antiviral.
Yeah.
And so it's just a bunch of misinformed stuff and people, overreacting and all that. But on the same sense, I really think that the coronavirus is, it's good for us to test these systems and see how rapid our response is. Because if you look in the history of like the Spanish flu, right after World War II, it actually wiped out more people than World War I and World War II put together. And it wasn't, it was actually more like young, healthy adults that were getting wiped out because back in like the late 1800s, the older folks during the Spanish flu, they'd actually had a different strain of that. And so They actually built up immunities and stuff like that. But my point is that it's good that we have this major reaction to a potential, major, catastrophic illness, and because we need to be prepared. And as far as being prepared, hospitals, all the hospitals nowadays are for profit, and they, and as such, they only prepare for their average occupancy. So they literally say they have 100 beds, and there's an average of 50 people. Well, they only have enough IVs and masks and bandages and all that stuff for 50 people.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden there's a pandemic and there's 3,000 people walking that door, well, guess what? We're totally screwed. And China, actually, it was pretty impressive. As much as I dislike China right now, they're putting hospitals together in 2 weeks, and 10 hospitals and all that.
Yeah.
So, fumigating the streets. And I mean, they kind of went overboard, but they really went head on after this. But seeing the disaster preparedness actually happen, I think is nothing but a positive.
I think disaster preparedness is a positive. The media forever has been fear, and and it got, and they've used it in order for them to profit from it, and that's why it turns my stomach, is because plus the fact that humans just aren't meant to live in moment-to-moment fear, It's not meant to be an every moment kind of thing. It's supposed to be very, very quick, momentary thing, but it's just pushed day and night in our current society. And hey, so how'd you say you say your name, Maui?
Mauinian.
Mauinian.
Yeah, close enough.
Mauninian. Mauninian. I get it. I was trying to say it like Maui Onion. Go ahead.
You must have been hanging out on Little Beach.
No, but I was there a little bit. But no, it's kind of out of the way, honestly. I was in Ka'anapali. I worked there, and I lived in Lahaina and Kahana.
Oh, we might have crossed paths a couple of times. And then in regards to Biden, winning South Carolina, well, South Carolina is kind of, the only thing that they really have status for as far as the election goes is that they're before Super Tuesday, barely. And, of course, the mainstream media and all of that is going to slam these things down our throats. But also, like, the early projections with 0% counted and all that stuff, like, that's actually pretty normal. The thing is that these guys do exit polls and they, whatever, they have their own little algorithms that they run. And so what? Biden got one. Bernie got second.
Well, no, the thing is that it seems like they're chomping at the bit to be able to tell us, Biden won, like they need us to immediately start buying into it. And the thing about their exit polls is, they can go to the areas where they know Biden is going to do better and do their exit polls there, so they can get the outcome they want of their exit polls,
Totally.
So it's so hard to and you look at them, and they've been saying for days that that's just we got to stop Bernie, we got to stop Bernie. And we saw the bullshit that went down in Iowa, and the media just doesn't seem to act like it matters at all. Other than to say, well, Iowa's not a good representation of the country and they shouldn't be first. Well, yeah, but how about this election and what just happened, so that we can all know for real? But they don't seem to care about for real at all. So, It's
so these people have two pandemics on their hands. One's Corona and one's Bernie.
well, it's just they're terrified. They seem to be, honestly, the people in the media seem to be more afraid of Bernie than they do of Corona. I'm pretty sure. Don't they seem like that to you? I mean, personally, themselves seem way more afraid of Bernie, and they're doing their best to spread the fear on the Corona, but it doesn't seem like, yeah, I'm afraid of it or anything. You know, they're not.
Right. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, if it bleeds, it leads. And so the media has one mission, and that's to get you to tune in and watch their ads. And so they're going to hype up anything they possibly can. And also, they have an agenda. I mean, you know, isn't it ironic? Okay, so, I mean, our forefathers said, you know, a strong independent media is important. It's like a major issue for our democracy.
Right. Tom Hartman likes to point out that journalism is the only occupation mentioned in the Constitution. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, it's literally. But then we have Bloomberg buying his way in, who owns a media empire. And, I mean, and it's like people are okay with this. I mean,
it's like they don't care if there's zero appearance of shenanigans and stuff. They just don't care. It's like, okay, this is the way things are now, and you people need to get used to it. Okay, our super delegates are going to decide who it is that is going to be the nominee, and fuck you. You know?
Exactly.
And how dare you think that your voices should matter, basically.
You do what we tell you to do.
Unbelievable, right? I mean, and this is exactly how they lost in 2016, refusing to listen to the people.
But you know what? You're so true on that. I mean, literally, if they wouldn't have shunned Bernie so hard in 2016, you know, we would have had Bernie instead of Trump. And all of these problems that we're all, you know, screaming about with Trump are is all because of the DNC. And when are they going to wake up and realize that they're alienating the people that they're supposed to be, you know, their customers, their frontline?
Well, see, they don't ever have to wake up because it's not the DNC, it was the Russians.
Well,
that's exactly what they will tell you. Everything. It's not us. It's the Russians. I mean, that's the dialogue. That's the only dialogue. And you know the problem with it's not us. We didn't do it. We're not to blame. It's like with the cops when they fucking murder the wrong person. It's not our fault. But here's $4 million. You know, the problem is if you didn't do something wrong, then there's nothing to change, right? We just keep doing it this way. No, it was the Russians, man. We didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about?
You know, it's like maybe they have a plan for war with Russia in 10 years from now or something like that. They're planting the seed of like, oh, scary, nasty Russians. I mean, you remember the movie Top Gun? It was, you know, we were always fighting against the MiG fighters. It was never Afghani warplanes, you know.
Yeah.
Iraqi, you know, people that were actually going to war with. It was always Russia's always been the boogeyman.
Well, I remember right before the Iraq War, which began, shock and awe began on my birthday in 2003. It was like the night before or something. The fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark was on TV, and it was like Sunday night. And I was like, man, why are they playing this 30-year-old? Because Sunday night is their big family night, you know, and they try and bring like a newer movie in and stuff, you know. And I'm like, why are they playing this 30-year-old movie? And I'm looking at the movie, and it's showing all these Arab people working hand in hand with the Nazis. You know, so and then the next day we go and bomb, you know, Iraq. So
right. Wow. Just prepping. So these guys are all on the all in the inside loop of what's going on and what's going down. I mean, so like why do we even pay any attention to them? What, like, it's amazing that, like, you know, Fox News
Well,
is...
I can explain why Mox News and C-SPAN Junkie, you know, why I, throughout my career on YouTube, have always paid attention to the mainstream media. And it's this thing, I went to work for Raw Story and Crooks and Liars for a little while. And they're like, you know, they asked me to come and work with them to help them start some new pages and shit. And... And they're like, hey, why are you posting all this Pentagon propaganda stuff? And I was like, because you have to know what this Pentagon propaganda stuff is coming directly from the Pentagon. And so this is exactly what it is, that, you know, the dialogue. And we need to know, we need to be able to fucking dissect that as adults, as aware, intelligent people, and go, okay, this is what's happening. Because, you know, it's not like, you know, everybody doesn't know that it's Pentagon propaganda. And it's, I mean, because, I mean, they're beating the wars of drum for the drums of war for war with Iraq, and you guys are asking me why I'm playing Pentagon propaganda? Because everybody needs to be able to fucking hear that the drums are pounding louder and louder and louder.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I've been a fan of yours since before C-SPAN Junkie, and I totally agree with you. It's a machine, and you know, that's what Rage Against the Machine was talking about. And it literally is, they're all in cahoots, and it's a big club, and we're not in it. Like Joe said. Yeah,
I agree. We're not. We don't even know where they hold their meetings.
No, oh no, I know. Yeah, exactly. And you know, essentially, you know, all the stuff that we get. And so, what's interesting to me is, so that study came out. I don't know if you remember it, but it said people that watch Fox News are actually less informed about current events than people that watch no news at all.
You know, Jon Stewart used to talk about that a lot. He, you know, which was important to understand, because what this means is that they're it's not that they're not informing you, it's that they're purposefully misinforming you, so that you don't, so that even not knowing, you know, not knowing what they just told you, you know more than before you heard it. You know, it's and there's so much more to it than that, honestly. You know, with because they'll play little, you know, they'll talk about shit endlessly, and there's so much fucking programming that goes on in it, and people get hypnotized by the TV. And then they just repeat these talking points, and you know, and it all boils down to this labels thing, which what I talk about all the time is you can't identify with these labels. Don't attach them to yourself, and the only reason that people attach them to other people is they can go, okay, that's one of those guys, now I know to disregard everything that person says, which doesn't benefit you in any way. You know, I mean, go ahead.
You know, the truth of it is that what they do best is separate us and put us in these little categories and compartmentalize us. So, you know, but the thing is, like, you go out to a nice outdoor concert in the summertime, and you know, you're sipping beer or kombucha, and you're hanging out. You know, everybody you walk by, you're like, hey man, how are you? You know, like, everybody's actually, most people are good and friendly.
Yeah.
And we all actually can kumbaya together. I mean, you know, we can actually, like, get along and have a peaceful community, or you know, and anywhere in the world you can do that.
It's like I keep saying. I mean, go ahead.
It's black, white, it's Christian, Muslim, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all these different, you know, Republican, Democrat. I mean, everything they do is try to compartmentalize us, and I agree with this point, I guess I must be a Republican. Like, bullshit. No, you're a human.
Yeah.
And we all get along, and if you sit in your little cave and watch the news all the time, you're going to believe that you're in compartment C5.
Yeah.
And not C7, because, you know,
Yeah.
And so, like that's the effort that they're doing, because that feeds the war machine. If we can keep people believing that we're separate and we're not a human race floating around on a rock in space, if we can keep us feeling separate from each other, then we'll go to war with each other, and those guys.
Well, that takes away all our power too.
Exactly.
If they keep us separate, it takes all the power, and like you're saying, it keeps the war effort going, and that's kind of the point. Like you were saying, how on a Friday night when we're out enjoying a lovely evening and everybody's got smiles on their faces, and you're high-fiving people you never met before, it's obvious that it's not the fear that the media tries to get us to believe it is, to be afraid of your neighbors even, because they might have guns, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
But the thing is that the way I see it, when you say how we're not that different and all these things, the way I see it is, who the fuck wants war on this planet? Really?
Yeah, really, nobody.
What percentage of people on this planet want war, and why is it going on everywhere, and it looks like with no end in sight, right?
Well, and people just blindly show up to fight these wars when they have no idea about the political process or the decision making that is casting their orders, and you're just blindly putting your life on the line for what? Patriotism? And that's another whole subject.
And all the resources that are wasted, and I think a lot of people sign up and do what they have to do for service, mostly because they don't have other options for school and all kind of things like that, healthcare.
Yeah, you're probably right. And also, VA benefits, be that as they may.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's a system that you can get into from nothing. If you're fit and able.
Or and if you have a kid or whatever, you're like, oh, I'm fucked.
Like, I'm sure in hindsight, a lot of the veterans that have suffered these major catastrophes and losses and all the horrible atrocities that they've had to endure, I'm sure that in hindsight they never would have signed up, or they wish it was different, and they wish they would have known better.
I think an awful lot of those people. I mean, if you consider how many of them kill themselves every single day,
so depressing.
That there's got to be a lot of regret there. That's for sure.
Well, I think what we really need to do is spread the message that we're one people, we're one humanity on a floating rock, and these imaginary borders and these imaginary political systems and these the mainstream media is just there to separate us and make us look down on each other, and
be afraid of each other. Be afraid of each other.
Yeah, be afraid of each other. Yeah, well, that's why we need more guns. We're afraid of each other. But if we ever had the opportunity to have like maybe not quite a Renaissance period, but a period where we can all just get together and talk it out and hang out and do fun stuff and create art and music and do things that are creative and not relying on, I got to pay rent next month, the bills are piling in, the taxes and all the other shit. If we actually had a period where humans didn't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, we now have technology to vote and to do all these different systems. Like, I don't know if you, how familiar you are with cryptocurrencies, but like Ethereum and the like are basically able to you could have your own Uber, or you could have, you could create an Uber, or you could create a Netflix, or you could create all these different things that are decentralized corporations, so that nobody owns them. Essentially, it comes together like a Hollywood movie. A bunch of developers come together. They say, well, this is the project, this is the map of what we're going to do. They come in, they do it, and then they all go off to their own projects. But then what's left is this decentralized autonomous corporation that has no employees, and that has it written into the code of like hiring developers to come up with new ideas and develop things, and it tests it and all that stuff. But But essentially, if we can decentralize things like Uber and Netflix, why can't we decentralize the DMV? Why can't we, why can't we decentralize a number of the bureaucratic bullshit that's going on? And so the thing is that the technology is there, and there's people building it right now. And so, if society ever collapses, I'll tell you, decentralized is going to be where it's at, because it can run no matter whose internet is down, and it can follow simple rules, and it's open source. So that if you know better, if you think that there's a better thing, then you put it, to the world, and you can actually change it.
It sounds very interesting. I hope that there are people discussing that right now.
There's billions of dollars, and it's actually a huge thing. Cryptocurrencies are something that a lot of people, it's a bubble, or it's rises and falls. Those are the people that have no idea what's actually happening in the crypto space, and they're actually building systems that we can govern the world population with no government, and fulfill I own this property and here's my deed, because it's locked in on the blockchain, and you can't edit that. You can't change it. It's set in stone.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I mean, as far as imagine you're buying and selling a house, title and escrow. That would be the easiest smart contract to execute on these blockchains. So you don't need these escrows and these title guarantees and all the other bullshit that you're paying thousands of dollars for when you transfer a house. But the thing is, if we can do all that, then what kind of bureaucracies do we have going on in the government that we could decentralize and just take it off their plate? You know what? The people, we want to use this, and we want to eliminate this entire department off the federal government's balance sheet. So hopefully you'll lower our taxes, because you're not paying for that whole department anymore.
Right.
We have this technology that allows us to do this. And so if people wake up and actually, start paying attention to what we can actually do right now, and what we can do to not be separate, to actually live in a world that we're decentralized, we don't have this hierarchy of the pyramid, trickle-down economics, and all that bullshit. I mean, we can actually live in a really cool place.
Well, I think that we could really live in a much, much cooler planet, cooler world, society, if we could get beyond all these labels and all the division like you're talking about, and prioritize what it is that we really want to make happen. Because like I was saying, I don't think anybody wants war to happen, and that's where all the resources are going. But your thing about the a renaissance where we all just have music and food and making art and stuff. I take the dog to the festivals when we get to go, and he loves it, right? And he's just like, man, how come we don't do this every day? I don't understand, and I don't have a good answer for him.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I mean, the fact is that you couldn't do that every day, but I mean, every day, I kind of like this mission where everybody gets $1,000 a month, but I mean, we're moving into the age of automation with 3D printing, and you can literally 3D print a liver, or not a liver, but a kidney, and a house, and food, and all kinds of different stuff. And the 3D printing is amazing. But we're getting to the point of the zero marginal cost society of where you own in your garage. You have a port that has self-driving cars that drive up and drop off goods, and then you print the other goods that you need. And, the thing is that we can get to the point where, instead of having a 40-hour week of work, you have a 10-hour week, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is that every time I've ever, I've started about, 10 companies in my life.
Uh-huh.
And every time I did, it was because I'd left a job. I had no idea what I was going to do. But all of a sudden I had this time on my hands. I wasn't working. And so I had free time. And next thing you know, I had the creative ability to find a market and start a business to capture it. And, you know, some of those businesses did awesome, and I sold them, and it was great. And then I was able to, like, partially retire for a couple years.
Nice.
Or, you know, and some of them failed, and I had to come up with something else. But I had time. And so people working on these, you know, 40 to 60-hour work weeks, they don't have time to be creative. They barely have time to get their laundry done. So,
a lot of people, I think a lot of people in society are, one of the main things that they're experiencing is being way, way, way overworked.
Yes, totally. And you know what? That's what the government does. America's strong.
Right.
We know how to rebound. And that means, oh yeah, there's another 10 hours added to your work week. And even though efficiency has gone way, way, way up in the last 3 decades, I mean, extremely up, and they've been able to eliminate so many jobs through automation and software and computers and everything, the wages are stagnant, and with inflation, they've gone down. And so, you know, our society is completely built to keep you sick, dumb, and poor. And, you know, and I thank you for Moxie for doing what you're doing, because you're waking people up.
Well, I think that it's I agree. I don't think that the health system is anything about keeping people healthy. You know, there's nothing about what it really means to be human about our society. It's all kind of just fit into this fucking mold and don't color outside the lines. And that's and all that's going to ever do is limit us from making, you know, our true fucking evolution, whatever it is that we're supposed to become, is just going to limit that and hinder it and keep it from ever happening, or at least slow it way the fuck down. And the people that have put us into this kind of design must know that and are doing it purposefully. You know, I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the easiest way to stay in control.
Yeah.
You know, it keep us sick, dumb, and poor, and we're always reliant on them. And the thing is that you have this huge base that knows what's up, that is paying attention, and we're saying, no, this shit is bullshit. And we're calling it out, just like you are. And you know, people are rising up to that, and the new generations are like, I see in my fantasy world of like projections of the future, I see people rising up and saying, oh hell no, we're not, you know, at a certain point, we're just not going to allow humans to have power over other humans. You know, and that's what it comes down to, is people in power always want to stay in power. Like, they don't care about how much money they make or anything else. They want that power. It's like Frank Underwood in the House of Cards. It's like, it's more about the power than the money.
And that's why, well, money is power, but that's why they see our freedom as a threat. Because if we're too free, we can see, you know, their evil plans and possibly hold them accountable. So they need to trickle out our freedom at the smallest little amounts that they possibly can.
Wasn't the Epstein case just a perfect example of that? Like, oh no, they caught us with our pants down. Oh my God, we better pull some strings, get that guy off, because man, he's got my name on his blacklist, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of like, oh, you know, the emperor wears no clothes. Yeah.
That is a perfect example of the way of how corrupt our how evil our government is, and they
can't stand having the light shine on them. It's like they're just cave dwellers.
Well, anybody, I mean, if you question Jeffrey Epstein's death, who every inch of the fucking prison that he is in is covered by video camera, and I mean every inch. Okay, and they're trying to tell us that there's no video to see at all. Okay, you know, and again, and who's going to be held accountable? No one. All right.
No, case closed.
Yeah,
About it.
you know, it's and we're and anyone who questions that is a conspiracy theorist. Again,
right.
Label.
We're making an absolute mockery of justice.
Yeah.
And any kind of order that we have in this country.
Yeah. So again, this is how the labels work. They attach the conspiracy theorist label, and then everyone knows you just disregard what that person says. Like I'm saying, that's the only reason for these labels. Do not attach them to yourself, because you just paint yourself into a corner, and do not attach them to other people, because that's all they're used. That's all they're good for. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. You know, they want to label you as a conspiracy theorist, but the bottom line is that they can't handle the flashlight being shined on their evil shit.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the whole thing of keeping us separate. So what can you do as an individual, you know, with a family and a job or whatever? The best thing you can do is see through the bullshit. And like with the Epstein case is a perfect example. And the internet was so amazing with making you know, the whole memes about Epstein didn't kill himself. I mean, that thing went nuts. It was awesome to see. And it's so cool that people were waking up and they're going, yeah, I smell bullshit. And so, you know, it's not just conspiracy theorists, and that's just a way to separate us. So what can you do as an individual? You can just see through the bullshit and not allow yourself to be compartmentalized and put into a certain label or category. You're a free human. You're a free person. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting other people. And so, like, keep going in that route and don't label yourself. Don't let yourself be labeled. Don't let these people tell you that you're, you know, whatever race or belief or political party or whatever.
Liberal, conservative, you know, again, they're just, if they're trying to tell you that oh, that's what you are, then again, they're simply, and people do this to me all the time. If you guys listen, they'll be like, well, are you a liberal or a conservative? You know, after viewing me for years, you know, and I'm like, those things don't really work for me. You know,
I'm a human. Thank you.
Yeah,
totally.
I'm.
So my message to your viewers, I don't know if we're live or whatever, but my message is that don't let yourself be labeled, and all of the people that you see every day, whether you like them or you don't, they're your brothers and your sisters, and that's where we need to really put our foot down. Is that we're all a human family. We're all floating on a rock through space. We don't know how we got here. We don't know how it's going to end, but we're one human family, and so I'll let you go. I don't want to take up your whole show.
All right, Maui. Hey, it's good to hear from you, man. Have you called before?
You, buddy. Yeah. I called you last week.
Oh, cool. I'm great. I'm glad to hear from you again. Then.
Yeah, man. Totally. Right on, man. Keep up the good fight.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay. Cool. Talk to you soon. That's our buddy Maui Neon. Actually, I want to say it like Maui Onion, Maui Neon, but I think it's Mauian. I don't think that's it. I don't know. I'm not the best linguist. Okay, so I will play this clip about Idaho and birth certificates and be right back.
Idaho's House of Representatives has passed a bill preventing people from changing the sex listed on their birth certificates. The legislation now moves forward to the state Senate. That's in spite of a 2018 ruling by a federal judge who said the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare had to accept requests from transgender people to change the sex listed on their birth certificates. She said automatically denying those requests was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution. Lawmakers in favor of the new bill argue argue that sex is a biological characteristic that can't be changed. They also say it's important to keep these records unchanged to track disparities in life expectancy and socioeconomic status based on sex. But LGBTQ advocates say it's discriminatory to prevent these changes. And they argue that transgender people whose identification does not match their gender identity are subjected to harassment or even violence. In addition to the bill about birth certificates, Idaho's House of Representatives also passed a bill that would designate sports teams by biological sex. That would prevent transgender athletes from playing on teams that are aligned with their gender identity.
I'm back. That one was a little bit faster than I expected it to be. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got fucking tiger. Cause what? I don't see a fucking tiger. Fucking tiger! I don't see a fucking tiger. You guys are so full of it. Fucking tiger. So, we can take another call if you like. The do not disturb is off the phone. I mean, it's not on the phone, I should say. There's no, I'm not putting the do not disturb on the phone. Okay, so they're trying to say right now that Joe Biden currently has 49 delegates and Bernie Sanders has 56. Hold on just a sec. I think I got that right here. Hold on. I'll play that for you right here. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Hello, caller.
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, Mark. Really enjoy the show, man. Yeah, crazy election today. Primary meeting. Gave that shit to Biden. I knew Bernie would lose. I didn't think it would be this bad, though.
You know, I didn't know. I really hoped that Bernie was going to win because it would have been the end of Joe Biden's political career. And I really want Joe Biden to go the fuck away. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. If Bernie had at least tied or crushed him, finally be rid of this nightmare, but, you know.
Well, Joe Biden is a fucking embarrassment. I don't know how the fucking Democrats can act like these people, you know, like they act like this is the best choice, completely ignoring the will of all the people that are willing to fucking say, okay, we'll support a Democrat, you know, air quotes, Democrat. But, and then they go, yeah, well, fuck you guys. We don't need you to win. And then they lose again. You watch.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, even if the guy were to get elected, be the nominee, and Trump would just blow him out the water. This whole thing's asinine. Lost so much faith in, you know, South Carolina. Like, they're like a failed state in my eyes. But whatever. I guess just low information voting. You know, I can't, you know, take it personal or, you know, blame it on them directly.
Honestly, I think it's I think a lot of Republicans turned out to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because it's an open primary, which means registered Republicans can vote for a Democrat. It's, you know, which is kind of a game they play in the South, which means that you know, and I've seen numerous stories where former Trump supporters are encouraging people to vote for Joe Biden, like, you know, somehow they're turncoats or something. But the truth is that they're just trying to get Republicans to go out and fucking vote for Joe because he's the fucking easiest candidate to beat.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's actually a sound strategy. Like, if I were a Republican, like diehard Trump, I want as many Democrats as possible voting for Biden. You know,
there's
probably the most surefire way to get him reelected.
he is the worst. He's an embarrassment to the to all professional politicians everywhere. And that's all that he is. That's his whole life, professional politician. And now it's his turn to be fucking the president. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's like dying before our eyes. He lies every other sentence. He wanted us to think that he didn't spend his entire career trying to gut welfare and social programs.
And we can't look it up what it is that he spent his entire career doing.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking ridiculous. But yeah, the other thing that kind of grinded my gears, I guess it's largely unrelated because it's just a trend by now. It's just all these so-called new progressives, the good guys on the internet, kind of throwing Tulsi Gabbard under the bus. I don't really appreciate that, and I don't really think it's done a lot of good, man.
Well, who do you mean throwing Tulsi under the bus?
Just in comparison, how much they've, a lot of these guys bolstered Bernie, and they've been on his dick, and I think Bernie's great. There's a good chance I'll vote for him, even though right now I kind of just want to see Tulsi succeed.
Yeah.
Because if she could pick up, any amount of delegates, she's going to be the only one helping Bernie out, I think, in the end.
That makes sense. But I think, I really think that Bernie, she's his best pick for a vice presidential candidate because she will be the number one person to pull fucking votes away from Trump. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
that's why I think we all got to rally behind those two in particular. But I think Bernie's going to bounce back from this, regardless of what Biden did tonight. Tulsi, she's not doing so hot either way.
Yeah, well, on Tuesday, it could have really been over tonight, but they tried to extend it, I guess, another night. But on Tuesday, I don't see anybody who's a contender. Bernie seems to be way out in front. So.
Yeah, I think Bernie's going to bounce back from this. Hopefully, there's any good left in the universe at all. But
yeah, and then he said that he will pick a woman of color as his running mate, and to me, that's Tulsi. Tulsi supported him a long time, and she's the best one to pull the Trump voters. It's not like Nina Turner is going to pull Trump voters, or fucking Stacey whatever her face is going to pull Trump voters. Fuck no, but Tulsi will, and she and Bernie knows who she is. She's not going to stab him in the motherfucking back. So
yeah, that's the ticket right there. I mean, and Tulsi, she's strong, where Bernie's kind of weak, and Bernie has that more PG, family friendly kind of appeal, where Tulsi can be kind of a little too in your face, I guess, even though she's very soft spoken. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think she's really done anything wrong. Everything that people criticize her for, I think she has a really good reason for doing a lot of that stuff and saying the things she said, like her single payer plan, for example. People say it's not as good as Bernie's, and I agree. I think Bernie's is superior, but honestly, her plan is great. Just getting that passed.
Yeah.
Be a goddamn miracle for this country.
Right.
And I think her plan in particular would be easier to pass than Bernie's. So that's just something I think people should keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, it just be see, like I said, he knows who she is, and he knows, and the thing is who else is he gonna put in there that's not like a fucking Hillary Clinton fucking waiting to stick that knife in his back, So
yeah, exactly.
She's the only one I see as a real option. So fucking everything that can be done needs to happen to make Bernie Sanders the nominee before they get to the fucking convention, and then we actually have a chance because at this time, when we're in this pandemic, verging on hysteria, you have to look and think, okay, this is when it really sucks having a fucking moron in charge of everything. So it's about time that people get priorities, and I think that it would be easy to get somebody in there who's actually an adult and ready to take care of business on all levels, as opposed to, is my skin orange enough and my hair fucking big enough today?
Yeah, exactly. Those two seem that they appear to be the only two adults in the room most of the time.
Yeah.
Talking about policies, and they're usually on the same page. It's great. I'm with you in that I'm scared of Bernie surrounding themselves with, a lot of these up and coming ones, the squad or whatever. They're okay, but they've got a lot of neoliberal and Hillary Clinton-esque tendencies to them that kind of are kind of red flags to me. AOC is cool, but
yeah,
a lot of times she's coming off like she's just biding her time to be the next Hillary or whatever, but at least a progressive version of it, or I don't know. Her intentions just seem a little bit less.
Honestly, she would be fascinating as Secretary of State.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
I think that would just be fucking awesome to watch. Especially, or maybe Ilhan Omar. Fuck you, Israel.
Yeah, she's very, very fiery, very feisty. She's got a lot of spirit and spunk.
I think it'd be interesting to watch, but I don't think that either one of those two are going to be leaving Congress anytime soon. So I don't think you really have a lot to worry about there. They seem to be in the right place at this moment. And it's good that they're supporting Bernie so that people can see that they're not Hillary people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess my main problem with that whole clique, if you will, is their propagation of the Russiagate propaganda is just...
Yeah.
It makes me want to tear out my hair and shit, man.
Yeah,
every with this bullshit for how long now? 4 years?
Yeah, no, every time, when I hear Bernie say fucking Russia, man, I just am like, you know what, Bernie, but he doesn't fucking linger on it or whatever, it's not like,
it's
not
hard
like...
to figure that part out. It's like, are you playing a game right now?
Well, I think it is a game.
You actually believe this shit.
I think it is a game. I think that right now he's surrounded by all these fucking Democrats and their fucking Hillary people and their fucking anything that we can to fucking use against Bernie Sanders. So if he starts saying the Russia thing's not real, then that's their whole fucking reason that they lost the 2016 election. Their whole house of cards comes down, So that then they get their fucking back up against the wall twice as hard against Bernie Sanders, if that's even possible.
Yeah, it's asinine. The whole thing's just it's just their way to not accept responsibility for the fact that they lost to Trump. It's really sad and pathetic and abject, but
yeah. Well, yeah. Every time you hear Hillary Clinton say Russia, you're just like, God, woman, take some fucking personal responsibility for one damn thing in your motherfucking life.
Yeah. Does she not own a fucking mirror? Has she ever, taken a look?
I doubt it. Or maybe it's true what they say about vampires.
Yeah, probably, man. No self-reflection there, but it was good talking to you, man.
Yeah, right on. It's good to hear from you too. Thanks a lot for calling.
All right, love your show. Keep talking, bro.
All right, I will. Thank you very much. And that is awesome. Anyways, I'm glad we got one more call in before we went. As I was saying, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Tonight, Saturday, we start at 7 p.m. It's now 8:30. Tonight we start at 5 p.m. Excuse me. So it's a 3.5 hour show. so far, and I think that that's probably good for a Saturday night. I think my party people, my party ninjas, probably have things to do. So I want to let people go about I want to let my party people go about their preparation for their Saturday evenings. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, each and every Monday through Friday, we have been doing this for quite some time now, and touching bases with you guys, and hearing your opinions, and us, you can hear that, again, we're not different. We're not that different, and we really are all brothers and sisters, and we really do have the option to have this planet be a paradise for everyone instead of just the very, very rich. So, but the only option to make that happen is if we can move beyond the labels and the things that divide us, and understand none of us want war. We don't want war. I don't want war. It's these evildoers that have taken control of our government, and you can see how afraid they are of Bernie Sanders. And that tells you that he's probably not one of them, because they appear to be very, very afraid. Hey, Ash, thanks a lot. All right, and thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Again, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope we see you here on Monday. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. Remember, one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool until that day.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.